The South is known for many historic battles, and we even have a few famous gridiron battles on the Gulf Coast. There's the Battle of West Mobile, the Battle of Pritchard, the Battle of O'Shell Road. Hey, we even have a battle for a cannon. But below Interstate 10, there's only one game that counts. It's the Battle of South Mobile County. And it's up next as Week 5 action begins for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Al Wheaton along with Corey LaBounty. Down on the sidelines we have Kimberly Dunn. Corey, it's the 21st reunion of the Battle of South Mobile County.
And you have to be excited about tonight's contest because it is a 7A Region 1 contest. Anything can happen on any given Friday night, even though the Hurricanes come in 0-3 tonight in region play and with an overall record of 0-3. The Theodore Bobcats are not going to take them lightly.
They absolutely will not, especially tonight, it being senior night. They just introduced all the senior football players and athletics and ROTC. So the Theodore Bobcat Nation is ready, and they are lit tonight for some action, Corey.
And they're excited about this program who has won 3 games in a row. They got off to a heartbreaking loss at Daphne in week 0 and have bounced back and had a big win, a big region win over the Fairhope Pirates 1 week ago on the road.
Right.
And Coach Collier is hoping they can sustain that momentum tonight.
All right, speaking of that, let's get over to your checklist for both of these teams tonight. It's a real loud crowd here at Bobcat Stadium. So Theodore is the home team. Corey, what's on your checklist for the Theodore Bobcats?
They have to show Theodore's tackling toughness. Coach Collier really emphasizes wrapping up and bringing the ball carrier to the ground. It's something that he wants to see his team improve on each and every week. He also wants to see the continued improvement in special teams. He thinks that that's the third phase of the game that gets overlooked so much by so many. And with that being able to be accomplished, he wants to be able to kick field goals, kick special extra points, and show that his special teams play is getting better each and every week. They have to have that Bobcats belief. The Bobcats believe that they belong in 7A Region 1 and they can contend for the 7A Region title, which is what he's been selling to them all season long.
Now across the field, the visiting Alma Bryant Hurricanes. What's on your checklist for them tonight?
They must protect that pigskin. It's been slippery when wet, meaning that they've had a lot of fumbles, maybe 4 last week, 4 turnovers, so they definitely have to make sure they're securing the pigskin tonight. They have to have offensive consistency and cohesion. They cannot have a lot of 3-and-outs tonight. Don't want the punter to be real busy putting toe to leather, and they have to find a way to survive the eye of the storm. What do I mean by that? How do you react when things go rough and tough? Do you drop your head or do you encourage one another and pull each other up?
All right, there it is, sitting at 0-3. They definitely want to encourage and pull each other up. Theodore back to receive this kickoff. Back for them, Hunter Tillman and DeMore Kennedy handling the kickoff duties. For Bryant tonight will be Hayden Dickens. So we're moments away from kickoff here inside Theodore Bobcat Stadium. And there it is, a little short squib kick there, Corey. And the Bobcats let it roll back there. But they're on the move. I believe Jimmy Haywood back there taking that return for Theodore Bobcats. It'll be 1st and 10 for them, ball at about the 23-yard line as we get our first look at the Theodore offense led by senior quarterback Tyler Underwood. 5 touchdowns on the season, only 2 interceptions. Let's take a look at that starting lineup. We just talked about Tyler Underwood. Also keep your eyes out for Jimmy Haywood, backup running back Devontae Washington, and his main man he goes to right there, Hunter Tillman, averaging 11.4 yards an average on the catch, and also Zach Workman as well as Underwood and the Bobcats set up 1st and 10, ball on the 23 with the handoff right there to the big back Jimmy Haywood.
And it's something that you want to see that offensive line start early and get a good push on 1st down. They did not gain any yards. Bryant did a good job staying at home and filling those gaps.
Something we talked about during the Baker game in week 2. Theodore's offensive line only averages 210 pounds across that line, Corey. So not a big beef on that Theodore offensive line.
Offensive coordinator Justin Ridgway and his Bobcat offense come in averaging 26.3 points per game, and this Bryant defense is giving up 23 points per game.
Have a stoppage right now. Officials pointing out to the field. Have a break. We'll take a look at the Bryant defense. There they are right there, averaging 246 across that front line. They play a 4-3. Keep your eyes out for Tyler Nelson, number 74. Also cornerback Aiden Adams, he's a senior for that Bryant secondary. So second down for the Bobcats. Underwood looking to throw. Pass incomplete to Hunter Tillman. Had his hands on it, Corey. Kind of dropped it there.
And it's a situation to where you want to come away with that catch. Now it puts you at 3rd down and 10 instead of probably 2nd and short yardage situations. The play before, Jordan O'Neal was not legally and properly equipped. He had on the wrong kind of tights, so the referees immediately noticed that and sent him out of the game.
It's interesting, Corey. We were down on the field before the game, and I noticed his tights underneath were somewhat kind of like camouflage a little bit.
Have to be a solid color, and the officials were able to pick up on that and asked him to leave the game.
3rd and 10 for the Bobcats here. Underwood gets that ball out. It is complete. Gets it out to Zach Workman. He has enough for a 1st down close to the 35-yard line.
Workman, 6'1", 175-pound senior, has 8 receptions, make that 9 on the season for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just a great play, something that, again, down and distance-wise, we were at 3rd down and 10. If you're a Hurricane fan, you've got to get off the field on 3rd down and long and make Theodore punt the football.
Very important right there, because Theodore was behind the chains, as we like to say. Little end around the Workman. He picks up maybe 3 or 4 as he's wrapped up by the Hurricanes and brought back.
And it's something that you see the Bobcats do. Workman's has 3 rushes for 21 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. So that jet sweep and him coming across the field to have a rushing opportunity is nothing new for him.
Ball pretty much right in front of us right here. So we'll call this about 2nd and 6, Corey. Ball close to the 40-yard line for the Bobcats. Underwood looking to the sideline to get the play call. Play clock approaching 10 seconds here. Little fake to Haywood there. Tries to get that ball out, and it is incomplete. Trying to catch up with Jordan O'Neal. Let's take a look at the impact players for Theodore. Who do you have there, Corey?
Theodore, you have to go with defensive back Cameron Brown. He's a senior strong safety, is a difference maker. And, of course, the young man who's under center for the Bobcats, senior Tyler Underwood, waited patiently for his name to be called and now is running things offensively and showing great senior leadership as well.
That pass, last pass incomplete, so it is 3rd and 6 here for the Bobcats. Tillman in motion. Play clock under 6. Frustration here on the Theodore sideline, so it looks like they're going to burn an early timeout, kind of get things together. Corey, a bit surprised. The offense seems a bit, maybe not shaky, but a little ragged starting the game off here.
Not clean and crisp like they would like, and I know Coach Collier is going to talk about this early. And sometimes when you try to look at your opponent's record, seeing that Alma Bryant is 0-3, you sometimes don't respect your opponent like you should.
Gotcha.
And that's a situation to where I know during this timeout, Coach Collier is really encouraging his team. Come on, guys, we have to play Theodore Bobcat football.
Let's look at the impact players for Bryant while we have a break right here. Who do you have for the Hurricanes?
Senior linebacker Dylan James, number 23, will be a difference maker. We'll be calling his name a lot tonight for Alma Bryant, as well as the senior quarterback Rajay Bowie. When he gets outside of that pocket, he really knows what to do with it and can hurt you with his feet.
Yeah, we watched that young man grow the past couple of years here with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. He's got good lineage. His brother played quarterback a couple of years ago for the Hurricanes as well. So let's see if Theodore gets it together. 3rd and 6. Tillman in motion once again. Comes to the near side, trips at the bottom of the screen. And Underwood looking over to the sideline for the call. Does get that ball out. It is incomplete, trying to catch up with Workman. And we'll have our first punt from the Bobcats tonight.
A situation when you get behind the chains early, it really changes the dynamic. Coach Collier is a run-first type of mentality and has a run-first type of mentality. But this year's Bobcats team has learned to be a little bit more balanced. The wide receivers, such as Workman and Hunter Tillman and Jordan O'Neal, have become much more involved, just weren't able to connect on that first possession.
Seth Tillman back to punt for the Bobcats, setting up at about his own 25-yard line. Tillman, very good punter, gets this one off. Aiden Adams back to receive for Alma Bryant. He stays away from it, but he does go to it at about the 10-yard line. Thought he had a little gap right there. Gets up to about the 20, 21, maybe 22-yard line. So we'll get our first look at the Alma Bryant Hurricanes coming into the night 0-3, as you stated earlier, Corey, looking for the first win of the season.
Offensive coordinator Wes Tidwell and his offensive Hurricanes are averaging 12.7 points per game. Again, we mentioned the quarterback Rajay Bowie. This Bobcat defense is led by defensive coordinator Ham Barnett. They're giving up 6.5 points per game. They're going to have to do a very good job in this 3-4 defense of making sure that they contain Bowie and keep him inside the pocket.
Ball looks like it's placed right at about the 21, 22-yard line. That's a good shot of Bowie right there. Empty back set. He's going to keep it. No surprise there. Bowie has rushed for a lot this season for the Hurricanes. Together with passing and rushing, he has over 550 yards of total offense. So he's pretty much kind of a Mr. Everything for them, Corey.
Good stop by Reginald Malone, the 5'9", 195-pound junior. Comes in with 23 tackles and 3 hurries. They were able to get maybe 1.5 yards on that first rush of the game for the Hurricanes.
Ball sitting at the 24-yard line. 2nd and 7 is what Theodore is calling it right here. Bowie looking to connect, cannot get that ball completed. Trying to connect with his receiver out there, Kobe Rogers, incomplete. It'll take Bryant to 3rd down.
One of those swing passes out of the backfield that you want to make the easy throw and let the running back decide what he wants to do with it, not the down and distance that the Hurricanes are comfortable with in this situation.
Right, definitely want to be ahead of the change on the road. Your first series here, 8:39 remaining in the first quarter. And you just mentioned that Theodore defense is pretty stingy, Corey, only giving up 6.5 a game on average. So they have Alma Bryant right where they want him right now.
Pin their ears back right here. Ham Barnett can blitz and really get after him on this down.
Hurricanes go with the handoff. That ball to R.J. Planer. So it'll take Bryant to 4th down, 4th and long. And I believe we'll be seeing the punter for them, Hayden Dickens, to come out and punt this one away.
Another great tackle by Reginald Malone on those 4 downs or those 3 running plays or those situations. Reginald Malone was in 2 out of the 3. In this situation now, the Bobcats are looking to try to flip the field and get a good return.
I know, I saw that. I thought you were taping me, so I was watching it.
Back for the Bobcats, Zach Workman setting up about his own 35-yard line, waiting this punt from Dickens.
That's me.
Low punt, little runner there. Gets a roll, Workman picks it up, and he's immediately brought down by the Hurricanes at the 30-yard line. So good wrap up and tackle right there. Bryant not giving up any space, Corey.
Great special teams play. Colin Grimes getting down on special teams, and Workman decided to catch it on the bounce. And you take a replay, it's a low line drive kick, probably one that he should have let go ahead and continue to bounce.
Right.
Lucky to scoop it up, but again, great special teams play. James Miller also down there for the Hurricanes, making an outstanding open field tackle.
Theodore's 2nd possession of the ball game. We're sitting at 7:43 here in the first quarter. Heat timeouts are still used at this point in the season. It's week 5, and Corey, I'm looking forward to the heat timeout at 6 minutes. It's pretty warm. The humidity's definitely kicking in.
We've been under a heat advisory here in Mobile, Alabama all week long, setting record highs, and these guys have been practicing it in the afternoons, and hopefully their bodies will stay conditioned and they hydrated properly.
Pitch out to Haywood. He picks up a couple, kind of runs into one of his own players. A late flag comes in as our weather bug comes in as well. 82 degrees right now, 81% humidity, and wait for it, and the truck is right. It's going to continue to rise up. 15% chance of rain. We've seen some clouds here. Corey actually saw a rainbow, but it went away and the clouds came back.
And on that flag, there's going to be free yardage that's probably going to be given to the Bobcats, excuse me, the Hurricanes in that situation, because there had to be some type of holding blocking the back in that situation.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
You're right, that'll push the Bobcats back. Our referee for tonight, Sean Kelly, backed up by Grant Baxter, Chase Childers, Derek Petway, Carl McDowell, Chad Burns, and John Esposito. I believe we had a chance to work with this crew early on in the season as well. So referee Sean Kelly and the crew on the call early. So that's putting the Bobcats back maybe about 1st and 16, maybe 1st and 17 here for them. Ball at their own 23-yard line. Still feeding the ball to Haywood. He escapes a couple tackles. Look at him getting back close to the original line of scrimmage. Nice run by Haywood there.
And I like the power and the aggressiveness that he's running with. Tackle made by James Miller, the 5'8", 165-pound senior. But you look at him ducking that shoulder and just trying to run over the cornerback on the play. And now it's going to bring it back to the original line of scrimmage at 2nd and 10 for the Bobcats.
So Haywood gets back the 10 yards they lost on the penalty as he set up in the backfield there. Tillman comes back behind Underwood. Bobble snap. It looks like the Bryant Hurricanes are on top of it, Corey. Jumping on top of that ball, Layden Weston, linebacker from his outside linebacker position, and we have our first turnover.
That's a huge play for the Bryant Hurricanes, and just a good snap. Underwood just wasn't able to keep his hands, and we talked about turnovers being influential for Alma Bryant, not committing turnovers. That way they get on the plus side of the turnover takeaway ratio, and in business, Al, right here at the 26-yard line.
1st and 10, ball on the 26. After this play, we'll get up where there it is right here. Here's the Bryant starting lineup. Didn't get to see it the last time. Rajay Bowie right there. We told you missed everything for the Hurricanes. Backed up by Sid Johnson, running back for them. And he gets the carry, as we call his name, across that front line. The Bryant offense averaging 236 pounds. So a lot of meat on that bone for the Bryant Hurricanes as well. So make sure you keep your eye out for, I'm sorry, that's the Bryant defense right there. We just had the offense up. We'll try to get that back up as well. It looks like a Theodore Bobcat's lost his helmet, so he'll have to come out for a play, Corey.
That's going to be Jeremiah Hester. He's the gentleman, the defensive end, 5'10", 195-pound senior, who just made that stop for the Theodore Bobcats.
So 2nd and 11. Johnson loses a yard on that carry. Bobcats guys, I'm sorry, the Hurricanes have some nice real estate in Bobcat territory right now. Can they take advantage and be the first ones on the scoreboard? Bowie decides to keep it right up the middle. He goes, picks up maybe 4 or 5. Take a look at the Bobcat defense while we have opportunity right here. We're familiar with them. Talked about your impact players for them as well. A.J. Braxton back in the backfield. Also Mike Washington across that defense in front, only averaging 211 pounds, more so speed than strength for the Bobcats, and they're backing it up, Corey, only giving up 6.5 points of contest, like you said earlier.
And we're going to take our first heat time out of the game at the 5:22 mark here in the first quarter, but Alma Bryant, they weren't able to do anything on the first possession, but are in business here in their second.
All right, speaking of business, we're in business when our buddy on the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn. Good evening. What you have going on?
Hey guys, what's up? We are here tonight on the sidelines, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of feel of what the atmosphere is like, since I didn't get to talk to you before the game. And it's really kind of somber down here tonight. I'm not really getting a lot of excitement except from the bands. So hopefully some of that excitement can spread to these players and to the fans as well. And what I'm also seeing is on these sidelines, there's a little bit of confusion on these Theodore sidelines. The players keep looking over at the coaches like they don't really know what's about to happen. So hopefully they're able to clear that up, or this could be a very different football game tonight for these teams.
You're right about that, Kimberly. We've seen some kind of confusion going on offense and defense for the Bobcats. Great observation on her part there, Corey.
And I guarantee when they get to the halftime locker room, they're going to really talk, and coaches are going to really rip into the guys. But right here in the first quarter, Bryant has the football coming out of the heat timeout, trying to make things, going to 4 wide receivers on the far sidelines.
Not a formation Bryant unused to. And Bowie had some room, could not get that ball, could not get it connected with Raymond Stallworth with having the 4 receivers at the top. So it takes them to 3rd and 8, Corey.
And that's a situation to where you had the Theodore defense confused because you went to 4 wide on the far side of the field, and the defense didn't really know how to read and react to that situation. That's a throw that Bowie has to put on the money to give your wide receiver an opportunity to make a play.
And threw it to the outside shoulder rather than leaving him on the inside. Stallworth had room to pick up that first down and some more. So situation right here for Coach Doug Hayne and the Hurricane coaching staff. Can they get the first down? Sorry, not 3rd down, 4th down for the Hurricanes. They're going for it. Bowie's trying to keep it. He is wrapped up and brought down exactly at the 25-yard line. So Bryant does not take advantage of that situation. Ball over on downs. They do not take advantage of the turnover, Corey.
They went 5 wide with no backs in the backfield to block. So Mike Williams came from his linebacker position and did an outstanding job of pursuing Rajay Bowie. Mike Williams, 5'10", 190-pound senior, with a stop for the Bobcats. Turnover on downs, 1st and 10, Theodore. Let's see if they can get it in gear on their 3rd offensive possession.
Speaking of turnovers, Bryant came into the night -4 in the plus-minus category, 4 turnovers on the season, and they all were last week against Foley, but they pick one up tonight with the fumble, but they can't get any points off of it. So Theodore has the ball sitting at their own 25-yard line, their 3rd time with the ball in the 1st quarter. Let's see what the Bobcats will do right here. Underwood looking to connect. He's got a guy deep. Zach Workman overthrows him, and Workman had his guy beat, Corey.
Yeah, overthrown by about 5 yards, going for the quick kill strike on 1st down, was not able to hit him. If you look at the replay, it's just one of those that you know Underwood would like to have back because his wide receiver was able to beat the cornerback. A nicely thrown spiral, just a little bit too far.
Great shot from our camera crew right here with the MCPSS TV network. Bobcats in the I formation. Look like they're gonna go power and run this one up the middle. On the move there for the Bobcats. Looked like Devontae Washington is coming to the game with that carry. I think he gets maybe 1 yard, and they may actually have it at the line of scrimmage for no gain, Cora.
Devontae Washington, the 5'7", 185-pound senior. That was his 29th rush on the year. Has 122 yards, along on the year of 21 yards, but another 3rd down and long, exactly 3rd and 10 for the Bobcats.
So no gain on that play. Washington does the work and picks up nothing there. It's kind of reminiscent of early in the season when Coach Collier said the Bobcats getting off to a slow start, not coming out fast. We saw them moving fast in that Baker ball game. Ball complete to Zach Workman. He's got the 1st down and some more. But you kind of see this Theodore offense kind of moving a little slow, a little stagnant tonight, Corey.
That's a huge completion for the Bobcats. Aiden Adams, the cornerback on the play, fell down. The 5'9", 140-pound sophomore has 5 tackles on the season for the Hurricanes, but that's a big completion. Let's see if they can string 2 or 3 in a row and get that confidence going on this drive.
1st and 10, ball at the 40, hand off to Haywood. He's got him making his move up the middle, comes to the near side here. Kind of let up a bit and headed out of bounds, Corey, so he gets past the midfield stripe. The Bobcats' 1st time inside Hurricane territory tonight.
And I would like to take a look at that replay because the way that Haywood is finishing these runs is just tremendous. He takes that stiff arm and absolutely trucks Aiden Adams. Look at the finish on that run. Nice stiff arm, slams the cornerback down to the ground. That's how you finish a strong run.
1st and 10 for the Bobcats. A run right there once again for Haywood. He comes into the game tonight averaging 5.7 yards a rush and 2 touchdowns this season. Theodore kind of gives you that 1-2 punch. Haywood and Devontae Washington, we saw it on display against Baker the other week, and they just kind of ground and pound when they get that thing going, Corey.
New Franklin was the one who made the tackle on the last play, and that's going to be an offsides encroachment called against the defense.
It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So Theodore is going to pick up 5 and move closer to the 1st down marker, just past the 35-yard line of Bryant. So they need to get to about the 34.5 to pick up the 1st down. Underwood looks back to the sidelines to get the call. Play clock approaching 10 seconds. Underwood keeps it, Corey. He has enough, gets the first down. Headed down to about 32, 33-yard line.
Good stop by the Hurricanes, and you look at the stop by Ethan Sema on the play, but it does pick up a Bobcat first down, and the Bobcats, after that first completion by Underwood, have really been able to get some type of offensive rhythm and showing great balance of powerful running and completing passes, and now Underwood gets involved with his legs also.
Billy Flanagan in motion for the Bobcats there. Little pitch out to Washington. He's got room, turns the corner up near the numbers. Tripped up, picks up maybe 3 or 4. It'll take Theodore to second down.
Tried to bounce it to the outside on that nice tall sweep. But, you know, you're able to gain positive yards. That's what's so very important. Going to give those offensive linemen a chance to pull on that tall sweep and go find them somebody to put a hat on and absolutely punish. We'll see if that wears down the Hurricanes as the game goes on.
And as you saw, Devontae Washington coming out, going back in, Jimmy Haywood. So that 1-2 punch continues for the Bobcats and Coach Eric Collier. Hand off to Haywood up the middle, but he is met. He still keeps the legs going, Corey, as we say, keep the legs going. He picks up maybe 1 or 2 on that carry.
And sooner or later, Jordan O'Neal, the 6'3", 175-pound senior wide receiver who's located in that slot, is going to get his name called because he has a mismatch out there on the cornerback for the Hurricanes. Jalen Dixon is only 5'8", so sooner or later you can look for Underwood to try to take advantage of that mismatch in the slot.
Right, he's lined up right there against him right now. Underwood trying to connect, and he does have him wide open. Corey, you just called it. Completion to Jordan O'Neal. That's going to stop the clock momentarily to move the chains at about 17 seconds. Take a look at the tights right there, so maybe he will make the adjustment. Good look on the replay here from the truck.
Great job by the truck providing that replay, and it's a big-time reception by Jordan O'Neal. I just mentioned the height advantage that he had. All you had to do, Tyler Underwood that is put the ball on the money. You know your big fella's going to go up there and grab it, and he did an outstanding job. Now you're in first and goal situation. This is power football going to be displayed by the Bobcats.
So the game clock is running. Theodore doesn't necessarily have to snap the ball. Play clock at 15 seconds. Underwood's going to go ahead with it. They've got the power formation in there. Little play action, and who do they connect with for a touchdown? Jordan O'Neal, 3-yard touchdown, and Theodore is on the board with exactly 0 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, Corey.
Wonderfully designed play. You go ahead and you fake the run and you have a little play action. The defense sucks in and forgets where Jordan O'Neal is, and he finds himself wide open in the back of the end zone at 6'3", 2 back-to-back catches, and you like to see him finish the drive. So congratulations to that young man making his first touchdown reception of the season.
Marcos Lynn on for the extra point. It is up and it is good. And Theodore in the lead 7-0. And we'll be back with more action, possibly the second quarter. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top. Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top 7-0 over Bryant. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey LeBounty in the broadcast booth. Down on the sidelines is Kimberly Dunn. A little quick recap there, Corey. Underwood to O'Neal for a 3-yard touchdown pass. And I got to say, Corey, I don't know what you're doing the week, but you might want to put on your offensive coordinator hat. You pretty much called it back-to-back plays, buddy.
Every now and then, a blind squirrel finds an acorn. And in that situation, it was just a no-brainer when you look at the height mismatch that they were able to go to. Let's see how the Hurricanes answer. I know that they were able to get that big turnover in their last possession, and then Theodore comes right back and answers with a touchdown. 7-0 here to start the second quarter. Now, Kimberly mentioned the sidelines is a little bit more energized now after that touchdown.
Back to receive for Bryant, setting up Sid Johnson, Aiden Adams, and Aries McCants. That was the last play of the first quarter, so we're starting second quarter action right here with Bryant receiving the ball. This kick coming from Seth Tillman. And he kind of does a little squibber onside, but it is wrapped up immediately right at the 50-yard line by the Hurricanes. Great grab right there.
Ethan Sema with the reception, and I call it a reception because it was a little trickeration. They were going to try to flip the field. But, you know, the Bobcats defense really needs to just dig in right there, because it's essentially, if you can force the Hurricanes to punt the football, really all you gave up was field position and some time possibly running off of the clock. But Rajay Bowie, again, we mentioned this young man's wheels. If he's able to get outside of that pocket and break containment, you can see him do something special in the open field.
He has 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown on the season. Hand off to Johnson right there. He picks up a couple. I'm sorry, Johnson not on that carry right there. Have to check a number on that. Number 32 for Bryant.
Torian Richardson.
Torian Richardson with the carry.
And that's a big stop by the linebacker, Demouy Kennedy. This young man, 6'2", 190-pound junior. The first time we've called his name tonight, he's a junior that is already committed to Auburn University.
Well, Corey, I'm committed to Jersey Mike's. Once again, another fine job for feeding the crew. Tonight, Jersey Mike's a sub above. You can't beat it, man. Hand off to Johnson up the middle. He goes. He picks up, Raymond Starworth on that carry. He picks up a couple. Takes it to about the 45-yard line. But as I was saying, Jersey Mike's feeding the crew tonight, Corey. You can't beat them. Talk to them about the owners. Very nice couple.
Mark and Christina Sinclair have 3 locations, a soon-to-be 4th one located in Saraland, but they're located on Dolphin Street, Airport Boulevard, also in Malbus. But we want to thank them very much for taking care of our crew.
So 3rd down here for the Bryant Hurricanes, trying to get their offense together. Not averaging very much, only coming to the ball game, averaging 12.7 points a contest, but giving up 23 points on defense. Bowie keeps this one, not surprised at that by all, nor were the Bobcats, because they surround him, and that'll take Bryant to 4th down.
Another big stop by the Theodore Bobcats defense. Jeremiah Hester, 5'10", 195-pound senior on the stop. And Jeremiah Hester's coming from his defensive end position only at 5'10", but that's a good job of slanting down and making sure that the ball carrier doesn't get any additional yardage.
So Bryant sitting right here in no man's land. Won't surprise me at all that they're going to go for it as they do. So it's 4th and 5. Kind of with a little full house backfield here, and Bowie's going to step back further. Looks like he's trying to get the Bobcats to jump off. Play clock under 5. Little quick punt there, Corey. And Theodore ready for it as they had a man back to receive it. Zach Workman. I'm sorry, not Zach Workman back there. But they're going to take over on downs. Had Cam Brown back there to receive just in case. So ball at the 20-yard line for Theodore as they take possession here, first time in the second quarter.
Yeah, Braden Stork was able to down the quick kick by Rajay Bowie. And it's something that, again, you heard the hard count at first. Bowie was trying to draw the Bobcats off sides, and when he was not able to do it before the play clock elapsed, and had the ability to do a quick kick, something that's hard to do and very well executed. Now the Bobcats take over offensively from their own 20-yard line.
Tyler Underwood leads his crew out onto the field, backed up by Jimmy Haywood. Jordan O'Neal standing right there in the slot. Man in motion, they're going to give it off to Haywood. He picks up maybe 2 or 3 scroungers for one more, possibly a 4-yard gain.
Good job by the Bryant defenders, tripping them up, not letting them get really beyond the line of scrimmage. The good thing for the Bobcats, though, is they were able to get positive yards. We'll call it a good 3 yards. 2nd down and 7 yards to go.
We'll go with that, 2nd and 7. The ball sitting right there about the 24-yard line. Pretty good crowd out here tonight for the Battle of South Mobile County, Corey. Haywood with the carry, stumbles, bumbles, still rumbling but does not fumble and picks up that first down, Corey. So good run by Jimmy Haywood right there. Coming up at halftime, the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. A lucky spectator in the crowd will get a chance to answer that trivia question. If they do it correctly, Kimberly Dunn will get them hooked up with a Chick-fil-A prize pack. So stick around for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge coming up at halftime tonight during the Theodore Bryant game. Great shot right there from the camera as the coaches putting in the signals there.
Another first down by the Bobcats. Sooner or later, this defensive team of the Hurricanes is going to be tired, and they're going to be wore out with their hands on their hips.
You're right about that. Pass completed out to O'Neal. Still, he is not down as of yet. His knee did not go down as he was escaping the tackler there, Corey. But you're right, this Bryant defense has been on the field a lot. The humidity is continuing to rise. We're using our towels to keep the sweat down up here in the stands.
Good play action pass by Underwood, and a great job of staying on his feet, Jordan O'Neal. We think that's his third reception of tonight. He's been the go-to guy here to end the first quarter and to start the second.
Close to the chains right there. The line to get is about the 44. Ball sitting at about the 42, 43. Underwood's going to keep it. He's going to take it wide. He'll pick up the first down. Gets a little more close to the midfield stripe as the Theodore Bobcat offense continuing to move and grind, Corey.
And that play action is sooner or later going to go ahead and take advantage of the Hurricane defenses, because Zachary Workman's listed as 6'1", 175-pound senior. He comes in with 8 receptions for 151 yards. That's another mismatch out there when the Bobcats are running 4 wide. And it's a situation that when you're in one-on-one coverage, if you run the right route, Underwood's going to put it on the money.
That's right. Tillman in motion. They're going to give it to him on a little jet sweep. He comes around. He's got room up to the 40. Can he get another block? Gets to the 35, maybe 33, 32 as the Powell pushes him forward. But, Corey, there is a flag on the play.
Right, almost at midfield, probably about the 43-yard line. It's going to come back. A nice jet sweep by Hunter Tillman, the 5'8", 175-pound senior. Has 4 rushes for 11 yards with 1 touchdown. But that rush is going to be negated.
On the offense, it's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
So it will remain first down. The Bobcats will just pretty much lose a lot of that yardage right there. So they'll put them first and long, maybe about first and 13 to 14 here as they go back until their own 42-yard line. Good look at the Alma Bryant Hurricane Band. Alma Bryant was created from 2 former high schools, Alba High School and Grand Bay High School, about 21 years ago. So this being that 21st meeting between the 2 schools, and Theodore leads the series, Corey, 14-6 since they've been playing each other the past 2 decades.
Eric Collier in his 6th year as the Theodore Bobcat head coach, and that's just a great tackle.
Great tackle
by New Franklin from his defensive end position. That's a huddle highlight film tackle that this young man made. He came from his defensive end position, 6'1", 190-pound junior, had 6 solo tackles on the season. Make that 7 solo now.
Yeah, he wrapped Haywood up well right there. Second down and long for the Bobcats.
I played back last year.
Underwood looks over to the sideline as we approach 6 minutes here in the second quarter. Little movement on the line, and here comes the laundry, so someone will get flagged for that movement. We'll find out from referee Sean Kelly as he gets the call from his
Prior
officials.
to snap, illegal procedure. On the offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So after that run from Hunter Tillman, Corey, penalty on that play. Bobcats next possession, next snap, Franklin New stops him, and now we have another penalty. The Bobcats continuing to go backwards here.
Second down and 18 yards to go. What you want to try to do is try to get back half of those yards here. And how you're able to do it is Underwood putting that ball on the money. Again, you have 4 wide receivers with 1 back, and if he puts this on the money, it'll be half of the yardage picked back up.
The line to make is the Bryant 40-yard line, and as I said, across the middle goes Jordan O'Neal, and that's an 18-yard completion for a first down, Corey.
Pitch and catch in that situation, put it to where the only person that could receive that football was Jordan O'Neal. Underwood had to make sure he didn't get it too high, but it's almost hard to do when you have a leaper at 6'3" that has a vertical out of this world, also plays basketball. He went up and got that one and came up with the Bobcats first down.
Theodore moving, trying to get more points on the board. A little bubble screen right there to Hunter Tillman. He gives the stiff arm and keeps going. They forget to stop him, Corey. He has his legs moving. He's going to pick up more yards down to about the 34-yard line. And I believe we're going to have a second heat timeout after we look at this replay right here.
Good job of execution on the bubble screen. And Hunter Tillman was looking to punish the defensive backs, Tyler Womack and Hayden Linder. That's what I like to see. I like to see the offensive players trying to go ahead and finish the big plays.
Hey, speaking of finishing, man, Future One, they can handle you from the beginning to the end. Future Ones, that's the way to go, Corey. We have the gear on. Want to thank them for that, Future Ones, for taking care of us. Kimberly Dunn's taking care of us right now. She's got some info. What's going on, Kimberly?
Hey guys, like Corey was saying a little bit earlier, these sidelines on this Theodore side are finally starting to get a little bit of energy, and it seems like they have more of a clear goal now. It's like they had to get wound up a little bit at the beginning of the game, like we saw earlier in the season. You know, earlier in the season we thought it was just the preseason before jitters, I guess, that they had going on, but it looks like that may be kind of something that they have to do to get wound up and then really get into the game to start playing some good football.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. Also, we appreciate our fine folks over at Greer's Market. They're once again teaming up with the Mobile County Public Schools for the 10th annual Apple for Students program. Unlike traditional fundraisers, Apples for the Students is easy and fun. Best of all, everyone in the community can take part. It's simple. You shop, save your receipts, turn them in at the school, and the school can earn valuable items like computers and school supplies. So shop Greer's Market for the Apples for Students program. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats, sitting at about there at the Bryant 25-yard line. Underwood looking to go deep, Corey. He's disrupted, and he is brought down and sacked by Tyler Nelson for a significant loss.
The defensive tackle, 6'1", 285-pound senior, does not let Underwood get out of his grasp. As you see Underwood spin around, and right on top of him was Tyler Nelson coming off of that offensive lineman block, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and 25 to go. But the Bobcats seemed unfazed by down and distance situations.
That's right.
They were able to convert on 2nd down and 18 moments ago. Let's see what offensive coordinator Justin Ridgway can come away with.
Bryant jumps across the line. That flag looked like it's going to be coming in.
Snap. Illegal. Encroachment on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So Arian Gillian jumping across the line there, Corey. So that's a free 5 for the Bobcats. Get some 5 yards closer.
Now it's going to be 2nd and 20 to go, so it changes your play call maybe just a little bit. Maybe a shorter route can be run now by the wide receiver, but Underwood has a plethora of wide receivers to choose from.
He gets that one out to Workman. He's wrapped up immediately by the Hurricanes, but he'll get a little forward progress on that. It'll take Theodore to 3rd down.
You look at the instant replay, Underwood, just a one-step drop, is able to keep the ball high enough so it doesn't hit the turf. The blades of grass you don't see coming up. Workman, I would like to see, like they did on the last possession, Jordan O'Neal felt hot. Go right back to the wide receiver who feels he has the mismatch here at the bottom of the screen. One-on-one coverage. Let's see if the safety decides to shade on over to his side.
Little halfback toss to Tillman, and he gets it out and connects. That is a touchdown to Cam Brown, Corey. What a big one right there. 25-yard touchdown for the Bobcats on a little halfback toss pass there.
And defensive coordinator Dan Pallone is going to be very unhappy because, again, all the Bryant defenders got caught looking in the backfield. As we take a look at, we've seen the Theodore Bobcats run this play earlier in the year. If you're not disciplined, you were able to see Traylon Martin slip out from his wide receiver position and be wide open. The Bobcats score 6 more.
Good eyeballs there, Corey. Traylon Martin with that catch, not Cam Brown. And Marcos Lynn on with the extra point. and it is Theodore in charge, 14-0. We'll be back with more action here at the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Theodore on top, 14-0 over Bryant for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. And the Bobcat faithful, they're getting lit over here, Corey. They're excited that Bobcat's on top right now.
A good execution on that drive, being able to overcome down in distance for the Bobcats. And now it's going to be important for this Bryant offense to stay on the field, because with 3:59 remaining here in the second quarter, if that defense has to go out too quickly, the Bobcats are going to be able to put 7 more on the board before we go to halftime.
So Tillman boots this one. It goes out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Join Homeroom with Renee Phillips and find out the latest homework tips and what's happening inside the schools and classrooms. It's Homeroom with Renee Phillips right here on the MCPSS TV network. So after that kick from Theodore that goes out of bounds.
Team has chosen to take it at the 35. Be first down.
I was just about to say that, and referee Sean Kelly read my mind, so it's 1st and 10 at the 35 for Bryant.
And Bryant's going to have to get some type of movement of these chains. They have to sustain some type of first down, cannot afford, again, to go 3 and out.
Bowie on the keeper. He's got room on the outside trying to get to the numbers. If he could get there, he could get free. But he is wrapped up by the Bobcats right at the 40-yard line, probably about a 5-yard gain.
Travion Pines on the stop for the Bobcats, and Travion does a good job of making sure that the ball carrier goes down. Trey Pines, 5'6", 150-pound junior, makes his 9th tackle on the season.
2nd and 5 for the Hurricanes. You're right, Corey. They need to sustain a drive to keep the defense from getting worn out. This humidity is pretty much, it is grueling out here at Bobcat Stadium. Little quick handoff to Stallworth. He picks up a couple, maybe 2, possibly 3. It'll be 3rd and short for the Hurricanes. If they ever needed a first down, it's right now at the 3:10 mark.
Another stop by Reginald Malone. He's been very active defensively. Big 3rd down and 4 yards to go. If the Hurricanes are going to run the football, they must get a big push up front. And it's going to be interesting to see what the play call is right here.
Play clock approaching 10 seconds. Bowie casually walking in the backfield there. Looks like they're trying to get Theodore to possibly jump off, but they do take the snap. He's going to keep it, tries to go up the middle. Does have some blockers. Can he get to the stick? Corey, he's going to be close. I think it's going to be a little short depending on where this spot is.
Yeah, I think he's going to be about a yard short on the play, as the side judge was right there on top of it when he did run out. And looks like it's going to bring up 4th down and probably about 1 yard to go. Right on the 47-yard line, excuse me, the 43-yard line of the Bobcats. So right here, a big coach's decision. You're not necessarily in no man's land, because you can definitely flip the field on a punt and make the Bobcats drive the distance. We've seen them try to go with the hard count to try to get them to jump.
And we even saw the little quick punt on the last series that Bryant had. So they go with Raymond Stallworth up the middle. He follows that big offensive line, averaging 236 across the front, and Bryant picks up a first down. Let's take a look at some of the scores from last week involving Mobile County Public Schools. We had that Thursday night game, LaFleur and Citronelle. Citronelle undefeated right now, 28-20 over LaFleur last week. Viger all over Satsuma. Williamson went over to UMS Wright. They did not get the victory. Murphy and Mary Montgomery, that was Murphy's first win of the season. Good one up there at 8 Mile with Blunt and St. Paul's. Blunt on the losing end, 11-7. Daphne all over Rain, 40-6. Foley over Bryant, 30-17. There, the rest of the scores right there. Bowie trying to connect, does have a man downfield. R.J. Planer overthrows him. It'll be 2nd down. Let's get the rest of those scores up there, Corey. Theodore and Fairhope, that was a good one last week. We talked about it earlier as Fairhope, as far as Theodore, gets that win, 17-10. Carver all over Baker, 34-0. And McGill-Tulin over Davidson, 21-0. And last night, Davidson lost to Fairhope, 41-7, I believe.
17.
So that's back-to-back losses for the Warriors there.
big down right here for the Hurricanes. You're at 2nd down and 10. The clock stopped with 2:09 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Again, you don't want to put your defense out there.
So that play snuffed out by the Bobcats. They're all over Bowie, and they sack him and bring him down.
Yeah, Bowie just decided to eat the ball. As I know you have an opportunity to take a look at the replay. Demouy Kennedy comes from his jack linebacker position, 6'2", 190-pound junior. Bowie decided not to throw the football, and because of it, you see him pump fake, and right there in his face was Kennedy. Good job of finishing the tackle on the play. Good job of Bowie not turning the football over either. But it's going to bring up a 3rd down and probably 16 yards to go for the Hurricanes.
Coach Eric Collier playing the chess match right here as he decides to call timeout. He is 3-2 all time against Bryant as well. While we have a break, let's take a look at the 7A standings.
And now as we're waiting for those to come up, you know, this Theodore defense is leading the region in points against total.
And right now they're undefeated in the region along with McGill, as you see right there. Davidson and Fairhope. Davidson now with 2 losses after that loss to Fairhope last night will put them at 2-2 and looking for the first wins of the season. Baker and of course Bryant, the team we're covering tonight. Mary Montgomery 1-2 and 2-2 overall. Foley kind of sitting right there in the middle, 1-1 and 1-3. So things a little early in the season, Corey. The next week or two, we'll see how things shake out as the playoff picture starts to develop.
Yeah, Theodore has only given up 10 points in region play so far, holding the Hurricanes to a 0 as well.
So let's see if it pays off for Coach Collier and the Bobcats. They call the timeout. See if they can get a stop and get this ball back. Bowie tries to get that ball out. Appears as if it's incomplete, so that will take them to 4th down. So the chess play pays off for Coach Collier. It's 4th down, and it's 1:53 remaining. If he gets the ball back, Corey, he's got opportunity.
And what you like to see out of your quarterback is him be able to keep his eyes down the field as he's rolling out of that pocket. He tried to do that, but the wide receiver, even if he would have caught it, did not have enough yards for the 1st down.
So Cam Brown going back. That ball tipped at the line and blocked. Bowie tried to recover it. One of the offensive linemen does come down with it for Bryant. So the ball will be about the 39-yard line of Bryant. Here's the replay.
Bowie tries to get it away, and just good interior pressure by the Bobcats. Really couldn't identify who it was. Looked like might have been Trey Pines, but I'm not quite sure on that particular play. Nonetheless, it's great for the Theodore Bobcats with 1:41 here remaining in the 2nd quarter in Hurricane territory, and with this quick strike offense, you can kind of pick your poison. You can go vertical or you can bust a big one because this Hurricane defense is right back out on the field.
So the officials move it back from the 39. They place it at the 43, 1st and 10. Low play action. Underwood has a man. He's going deep, and you know who it is. Jordan O'Neal just overthrows him. O'Neal actually had to wait for that one, Corey. If he had kept running, possibly he would have brought it on in.
And you look at how he turned. He really didn't turn the way he wanted to. Nice play action pass. Underwood drops back, has a very clean pocket, and just got turned the wrong way. Didn't make the correct break on the ball. I know earlier in the week I had an opportunity to come and watch him practice, and he made that exact catch in the exact corner of the end zone on a Theodore defensive back. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bobcats don't go back to that sooner or later.
2nd and 10 for Theodore. Traylon Martin moves into the slot. There's that bubble screen. It's worked all night, and Tillman's on the move. Gets it up to about the 35-yard line, maybe about 2 yards short of the 1st down.
Takes it to the Bryant Hurricane 35-yard line.
And I believe we possibly may have a timeout by Coach Eric Collier. So he's going to burn one right here, Corey. Try to keep that clock from running down. They're going to call it 3rd and 1 right here at the Bobcats. So we'll take a look at the region standings right here for 6A Region 1. Sarah Lynn on top, undefeated this season. Spanish Ford as well, undefeated in region play. St. Paul surprising a lot of people with that move up from 4A to 6A. They had a big win last week against Blunt, 11-7. the rest of the 6A standings right there. You have Baldwin County, Daffy, big game tonight over in Baldwin County. Blunt's going over there to play the Tigers. That's a big one right there for, as you can see, an early battle for 4th place in 6A Region 1, Corey.
Yeah, you're battling the first 4 slots are the ones who make the playoffs. 3 and 4 will travel. We're already in week 5, and it's amazing how some of these early region matchups will determine where you go in the playoffs.
You're right. Tonight, the big one up at Legion Field in Jackson. We all know what's at stake right there. Jackson and Vigo undefeated. Pretty much rumor going around, whoever wins that game will probably win the region, 5A Region 1. Citronelle undefeated. It's a pretty tough region right here. Faith Academy as well, surprising a lot of people, coming in right now at 2-1. LaFleur and Satsuma not out of it yet. There's still some games to be decided. So that 5A Region 1 pretty tight right now. 3rd and short for the Bobcats. Can they pick up the first down, keep this drive going as we approach the end of the first half? Pretty quick first half we've had tonight too, Corey. Big Jimmy Haywood, I believe his forward progress will give him the first down from where the officials are. So while he does that, we'll take a look at the 4A Region 1 standings. Hillcrest, UMS right there in charge, and Delusia as well. Williamson went over to UMS right last week. We saw earlier, picked up that loss as well. Clark County, Escambia County, and Monroe County. I believe that's the game tonight at Ladd, is at Williamson Monroe as well. They're playing over at Ladd tonight.
That's going to be a big region matchup that decides, again, the first 4 teams in that region make the playoffs also.
That's right. So Underwood and the Bobcats get the first down. And Tillman tries to lay out. He cannot pick that one up. Incomplete. It will stop the clock just under 1 minute. 59 seconds remaining here in the first half.
I like how Underwood climbs in the pocket, and if he would have had that ball just a little bit higher, he would have been in a good situation. Unfortunately, it comes up incomplete. It does stop the clock with 59.2 seconds remaining. Brings up now 2nd down and 10 yards to go for the Theodore Bobcats.
Don't forget, at halftime, we have the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Try to get a winner, hook them up with a Chick-fil-A prospect. Also, we'll be talking with Charles Martin, the Mobile County Public School System's data manager. We're going to have him by, interview him, and talk about some of the technology things that's going on with the Mobile County Public School System. Underwood trying to connect. He has Jimmy Haywood out in the flat there, Corey, and that ball floats into the hands of an Alma Bryant Hurricane for an interception, and they take over. Landon Weston, we called his name earlier tonight. He picked up that fumble early in the first quarter.
Underwood rolling to his left, trying to throw back across his body to the right. Needed to put a little bit more heat on that football, was not able to get it beyond the Bryant defender. Good job of Bryant pressuring the pocket, not letting Underwood set his feet and causing him to kind of shortchange that football. Bryant comes away with a huge stop defensively, keeping Theodore off the board prior to going into halftime.
Their second turnover that they've taken advantage of tonight, Corey, and they have cut their plus minus in half. They're down to -2 right now after giving up 4 turnovers last week. Look, quick handoff to Raymond Stallworth. He picks up a couple of yards as the clock continues to move. And I don't know if it's me, Corey, but it seems like I felt a couple drizzles coming down there momentarily.
Yeah, there are a couple of drops, and I know McGill, Tulin, and MGM were in a lightning delay, and they're just now at the end of the first quarter, so we know there's bad weather out there. Hopefully it'll stay away from this football field tonight.
I agree with you on that. 2nd down for the Bobcats as that clock continues to run. Looks like this will probably be the last play of the first half, depending on what the outcome is. And Rajay Bowie decides to keep it, pretty much goes up the middle, keeps the legs moving. He picks up maybe 3 or 4 as the game clock approaches 0. And I believe that's going to wrap it up here for the first half here, Corey. So Theodore on top 14-0 as we go into halftime right there. Bryant's had the ball a couple times, just can't seem to get things together, Corey.
Yeah, Theodore was able to stall on their first 3 possessions, which was big for Bryant. Then they were able to go to the big guy on the outside, and that was huge for them, being able to find their wide receiver, Underwood, that is. That's a big, big-time play that sparked them to this 14-0 lead that they currently have here at halftime.
All right, Theodore's on top. Let's take it down to the field. We'll talk with their coach, Eric Collier. Kimberly Dunn has him.
Coach, how do you feel about your team's performance so far tonight?
Oh, you know, we've had opportunities and we really hadn't capitalized. So coming out, I don't think we played real well. I hope and pray to the Lord, we'll come out and play the second half better than we played the first.
Yeah, so what specifically does your team need to improve on coming into the second half?
Main thing is we got to play with a little more motion. I mean, we're moving the ball. Defensively, we're playing okay, but it's we got to play with a little more motion, a little more get after it, and we'll be fine.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Kimberly, we appreciate that. Sometimes that can happen on emotional nights like senior night. You kind of get the emotions up too early, Corey.
Yeah, Jordan O'Neal, again, has been the difference maker here in the first half. Underwood has been able to find him. If you're Theodore, you're happy that you held Bryant scoreless. If you're Bryant, you're happy that you were able to stop Theodore from going into the half.
All right, it is halftime. Theodore on top 14-0 over Bryant. We'll be back with halftime activities, the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Plus, we're going to have a guest as well to join us in the studio right here, Mr. Charles Martin from the MCPSS Data Manager. Don't move, halftime is here. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
I believe my child's school is probably one of the best ones I could have picked in Mobile. She's in the PACE program. The teachers are phenomenal. The principal, couldn't ask for a better principal. The research that I had done myself, I believe the quality of education in Mobile County Public School System is excellent. For me and my child, I'm going to stick with the public school system. I think it's the way to go.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Welcome back to halftime. We're live here at Bobcat Stadium, and we're going to take it down to the field and listen at the marching band for the Bryant Hurricanes.
already got a little plan together.
The Bryant Hurricane Marching Band. Great job done by those kids right there. We're going to take a break and come back. We'll turn it over to Kimberly Dunn because it'll be Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge time. Don't move. Welcome back to halftime here for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're going to take it into the stands. I believe Kimberly Dunn has a spectator ready to try for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge.
I'm here with Bryant and Addie Davis. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good. How are you
Doing good.
Good. And they are here to answer our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge question. Are y'all ready? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Ready? Okay. Here it is. It's not too hard. I think you can get it. Are you ready? Okay. The question is, which planet in our solar system has the most oxygen? Okay. And here are your choices. It's multiple choice. All right. Is it Saturn, Jupiter, Earth, or Mars? You think you know? Has the most oxygen? Earth. What do you think? You agree?
Earth, yeah.
Yeah, all right, that's right. So you win our Chick-fil-A prize pack. This has all kinds of goodies from Chick-fil-A as well as the Mobile County Public School System. I told you you'd do good. And so she goes to Brightling Elementary School. And you have two daughters who's in the color guard here at Alma Bryant. Wonderful. Well, thank y'all so much for being here tonight and doing our Chick-fil-A Trivia Challenge.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good night.
And thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. Joining us right now, we have Charles Martin, the Mobile County Public School System's data manager. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing great.
Good, good, good. Sorry about the humidity, man. I know you were enjoying yourself in the truck earlier with the air conditioner.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out here.
All right, so you're the data manager for the school system. Talk about what a data manager does for the Mobile County Public School System.
As the data manager, it's my job to oversee basically all of our programs that use databases. My main responsibility is our student information system, the program that houses all our grades, attendance, everything else. But I also see other programs such as the Raptor program. I help with our databases for HR, that sort of thing. So I basically make sure sure everything keeps working.
Okay, I heard you talk about student information. I think that's iNow.
Correct.
But you just mentioned something raptor. Are you talking like a Triceratops raptor or one of those flying raptor? What is raptor?
No, actually what Raptor is, it's a visitor management system, and it's also a student check-in system. And what it does is it allows us to know who's in our school at any time. It's basically an online electronic visitor management.
Okay, what came about? Why was Raptor, I guess, implemented for the school system?
Okay, well, before we started using Raptor, everything was tracked on paper and pencil. Basically, you come to the school, you sign in on a piece of paper, and anytime we needed information on who visited the school, we'd have to call the school. They'd fax us that sheet of paper. It was really an arduous process to track who was in the schools. So this allowed us to take it to the 21st century, know who's in our school at any time, and then it also had the bonus feature that the students can also use the system for a quick check-in when they come in tardy in the morning.
Wow, okay. We're talking with Charles Martin, the MCPSS data manager. I'm learning something every week. I didn't even know we had a data manager for the school system. Okay, I have kids in the school system, but let's just say if I didn't. What happens if I go to a school to visit? What's the process? What takes place?
Well, the process, your first time at the school for the year, you'll go in and they'll ask you for your driver's license or some other ID to identify who you are. And what they do is they take that driver's license in, they scan it into the computer. And what it does is the only thing it takes off your driver's license is your name, first name, last name, your date of birth, and it just takes the last 4 digits of your driver's license number, not even the whole number, just the last 4, so that it can identify who you are. So the next time you come in, it's already got that information. What it does is it then takes that information, your name and your date of birth, and it checks it against the registered sex offenders databases, both the state and national. So anywhere in the United States, if you've been a registered sex offender, it alerts the school that that person is a sexual offender. So then that allows the principal to take extra precaution for that person in her school or his school, and it basically makes our campuses safer.
Wow, that's pretty huge. Talking with Charles Martin, the MCPSS data manager. Before you get out of here, while I have you here, you did mention technology. What are some other technological fronts we have coming for the Mobile County Public School System?
Well, we've got a lot of great programs going on in technology. We just finished rolling out our Office 365 with Microsoft, and we had that for a couple of years for our teachers, and now we've rolled it out to the students this fall. So all of our students and teachers are in that, and what that's going to do is allow us for better collaboration. Students will be able to go online, actually do their work and submit it online instead of having to bring it into class and submit it. And so it's going to give the teachers a lot more collaboration with their students, and it's going to allow them to email directly to their class period, so they can just take and email a certain period and not have to email everybody. So it's a really big function, and it's going to really help out in the classroom. Some of the other things we're doing is we're rolling out collaboration classrooms, which are really neat classrooms that have a bunch of screens on them and allow students to bring their devices, hook up to them, and they work as a table, 4 or 5 students at each table, and they can switch between their computers and pull it up on the monitor at the table.
Wow.
And then the teacher has the option of sharing that with all the tables in the classroom and bring it up on everybody's screen so that they can basically collaborate together, and it's really been impressive. And we're also just in the process of rolling out a teacher laptop program to where we're making sure that every teacher has a laptop assigned to them.
Huge. I've heard of that when you talk about the BYOD, where the kids are bringing their own devices in and sharing. So that's pretty cool. Well, Charles, I appreciate you stopping by, man. I'm sorry about the humidity. I know you want to get back down to the truck and get some of that air conditioning with the crew.
It's my pleasure.
Anytime, like I tell Miss July, and as I tell the AD and also Superintendent Threadgill, anytime you want to stop by, you're more than welcome to come by, all right?
Thank you very much.
All right, Charles Martin, MCPSS data manager here with us at halftime. Matter of fact, we're going to take a quick break, possibly come back, take a look at some stats, or also maybe the Theodore High School Band. Don't move. It's halftime for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
I think it's a good idea for students to enroll in this program because it offers a sort of new way to learn. It feels like in AP classes, you're actually expected to learn and apply yourself and apply the knowledge as well. helped me to learn how to work harder. It's helped me learn my limits as a student. It's sort of helped me to be more confident in myself as well as a student in my abilities.
When parents are involved in school, you get more of this and less of this.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
Hello, I'm Jordan Clark, and I'm in the Health Service Academy at John L. LaFleur Magnet High School. My future career is to be an obstetrician gynecologist. With this academy, I'm learning firsthand from people already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job really makes me want to study hard and work harder towards my career goal.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. Visit mcpss.com.
I think it's a good idea for students to enroll in this program because it offers a sort of new way to learn. It feels like in AP classes, you're actually expected to learn and apply yourself and apply the knowledge as well. It helped me to learn how to work harder. It's helped me learn my limits as a student. It's sort of helped me to be more confident in myself as well as a student in my abilities.
Thanks for joining us here. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're back at halftime. Halftime activity is about to wrap up. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey LeBounty. Corey, interesting first half. Bryant has benefited with 2 turnovers, a fumble recovery, and an interception, both by Landon Weston, but they haven't taken advantage of points off turnover.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where they probably don't have over 80 yards offensively combined, Al, and because of it, the Theodore Bobcats, they struggled on their first 3 possessions, but were able to finally put it in to the end zone as time elapsed. To begin the second quarter, they were able to again put another drive together at the end of the second quarter. Our halftime score 14-0 in favor of the Bobcats. You know, if you're Theodore, you're going back, you're saying, okay, guys, we got to try to put some more points on the boards. Executing offensively, that's the biggest thing now. Coach Collier talked to us in pregame about them wanting to make sure they worked on themselves, making sure they execute and get better. And in that first half, it's great material for you to let the guys look at on what we're not doing effectively and efficiently enough for Coach Collier.
Yeah, starting off slow there, and that fumble botch snap right there from Underwood, and Weston jumps on top of it. And then in the second quarter, underthrown ball by Underwood, and Weston picks it off. He had Haywood wide open for the touchdown, but he underthrew that one. And we saw earlier in the first quarter, he overthrew O'Neal, but he did go back to him when you put on your play calling hat there.
Yeah, the biggest thing for the Bryant Hurricanes are going to be to stay on the field offensively. They cannot afford to go 3 and out. If they go 3 and out continuously here in the third quarter, that score will get away from you very fast.
All right, let's take it down to the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn has Bryant head coach Doug Haynes.
They still want me to go? All right, Coach, what was the atmosphere like in the locker room for your team?
Kids are positive. I think we played a good first half. Our kids played really hard. They're a very talented team. They got the trick play on us. That was tough to take there. But overall, we're not turning over the ball. We're playing solid, no penalties. We just got to come out and execute a little bit better the second half, see where it takes us.
Yeah, so what specifically does your team need to do in order to get the win in this game?
We need to hang on the ball, and we need to make a big play. We need to, maybe try to stretch the field, make a big play, or put a drive together, have some more consistency on offense. But I think if we can make a play and get in the end zone, maybe something will turn.
All right, well, good luck to you, Coach, and your team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimber. We appreciate that. Bryant's got to get themselves back into this thing. Corey, we're going to take one last break and come back with second half action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Curly Bowner. You just saw Kimberly Dunn down on the sideline with Bryant coach Doug Hain. And Corey, pretty much they said that he's got to get things together right here for the most part. He's got to get his team together. They've got to get into it and take advantage of the mistakes they've been making, but most importantly, take advantage of those turnovers they've had.
Yeah, one of the things that was interesting, I wanted to see how they were going to respond to when Theodore got into the red zone area. Well, how did they respond? They responded with a turnover. They've had a couple of takeaways, like you said, have not been able to put points on the board after those turnovers. So let's see if the Hurricanes can change that direction of the eye of the storm to receive the ball here in the second half, get a little momentum going offensively, possibly take some shots down the field like offensive coordinator just talked about Wes Tidwell. Let's see if he decides to do that, Al.
Pretty much Seth Tillman has been kind of pooching this one or kind of stubbing it down the field. Hasn't kicked it deep. Bryant has three receivers back there for the ball. Three returners, Ced Johnson, Aiden Adams, and Aries McCants. And he does boom this one. It goes into the end zone as Adams steps over to pick the ball up and hand it over to the official. So Bryant will get the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Getting this ball here, this series probably right here the most important one for Bryant to reestablish themselves.
It is. The first 5 minutes are going to be critical to how this game turns out.
Don't forget, no schools coming up for students taking the fall break in a couple of weeks. A couple teacher work days, professional development days. Mark it on your calendar. October 9th and 10th is fall breaks for the students. I'm sorry, October 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's fall break for Mobile County public school students. First and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Rajay Bowie handing that ball off. On the carry, Ced Johnson picks up a couple yards, maybe one or two. Take Bryant to second down.
And that's just a good positive gain on first down of 2 yards. Again, what you do is you run the ball to set up the pass, and Rajay Bowie, when he does go ahead and throw the ball, just needs to make sure he keeps his eyes down the field and let the wide receivers work their way back to the football.
So Johnson gets credit with about 2 yards on that carry. Back to him once again up the middle, maybe 1 yard there, so it's 3rd and long right now for the Hurricanes.
Colton Higgins, the Sam linebacker, 6'1", 194-pound senior, makes the stop, and here it is, that magical 3rd down for the Hurricanes that we talked about. Not wanting to put their defense on the field for prolonged periods of time. Even though we're starting here fresh in the second half, the Hurricanes can ill afford to have their defense on the field a long time.
Good shot right there of Jaden McCants, defensive end for the Bobcats and the rest of the line. You're right, Corey. We've been calling 3rd and long for the Hurricanes all night. Bowie with a pass does get it complete. That ball out to Kobe Rogers. He picks up a couple to about the 30-yard line, so let's see if that's enough to get the first down. And you can see Coach Doug Hain right there gives the thumbs up, Corey, so it's a first down for the Hurricanes. We haven't said that in a long time.
No.
Maybe is that the first down of the night for them?
Besides off of a penalty, I believe you're right. And
right.
That's going to be big time for your confidence, and you just want to try to string those together if you're Bryant. That's what you want. You wanted to move those sticks 3rd down and long. You were able to do so. Give you a little bit of confidence here.
Hand off to Ced Johnson. Boy, he's got the motor moving. Look at him, Corey, just bouncing off tacklers. gets maybe a hard 4-yard gain there for the Hurricanes.
And that's what you want to see out of your running back. You want to see him continue to churn those feet, keep them moving as he continues to make forward progress, not stop after the first contact, continue to go forward, move forward with the football. That's exactly what you want to create in a 2nd down and 5 situation now for the Hurricanes.
Scores coming in, scrolling across the screen right there. Citronelle on top of Faith Academy, Williamson all over Monroe County as Spanish Fort on top of Rain as well. That pass incomplete. That'll take the Bryant Hurricanes to 3rd down, trying to connect with Rogers. Kobe Rogers cannot get that. That would have been a huge completion for Bryant right there.
Rajay Bowie must put that right in between the 2 numbers, and it's going to be important. I know Rogers only has a single-digit
He only has one number.
But you want to put it right there in that circle area.
You
want to keep it to where he can get his hands up and at least make a play on it. That's going to hurt you here. Put a little bit more pressure on the quarterback here on 3rd and long.
Trips to the bottom of the screen. Bowie wants to keep this one. Up the middle he goes. He's close to the 1st down marker. Depending on where they spot this ball, I think he might be a bit short, but he's close, Corey.
And you have to decide right here at 4th down and 1 yard to go. Do you want to go ahead and get that push? Earlier in the game, they were able to convert on 4th down. So there's no hesitation. Offense stays on the field.
You're right about that. So I believe that probably was their 2nd 1st down they've picked up legitimately. Bowie walking to the sidelines. Coach Doug Haynes is going to call a timeout right here at 9:06 remaining in the 3rd quarter. While we have a break talking about Coach Doug Haynes, let's put up our coaches comparison. Corey, Coach Doug Haynes, Bryant head coach in his 2nd year. He's 3-10, 0-1 in the playoffs. Former head coach at Neal High School for 6 years, 33-31. Enjoys being involved with his church. If he wasn't a coach or educator, he would do some kind of sort of public service work. On the other hand, Coach Eric Collier, former Bryant head coach, enjoys fishing, loves to visit Guatemala. He talked about it, his Guatemala visits through his church, Theodore Baptist Church, and what it does for him, Corey, as he talked about that before the game with us.
Yeah, just love the fact that he's able to go and give back to the Guatemalan community.
Right.
And, he says it just brings him back a humbled man when he sees the circumstances that are in Guatemala. It makes him appreciate it so very much. And he just comes back and tries to share what he learned with all of his players and coaches.
So he takes that trip every summer around June with his church to head down there. Said his pastor's in attendance tonight. And the other thing he told us, with him living down in Grand Bay, he said a lot of the former players he has are assistant coaches right now for Bryant. So he still has a lot of tie into the Bryant area, Coach Eric Collier. So Bryant punting right there. Nice punt by Dickens. Zach Workman, he works himself out of trouble, Corey. He's got room here. Can he get some blocks? Nice block right there as he comes across midfield, but there is some laundry on the turf. I see a couple flags there, Corey.
Yeah, right on the 48-yard line, you're going to have that flag. And you look at the punt, it's a good punt by the Hurricanes. And Workman, you thought he was going to be trapped along that sideline and found a way to, like you mentioned, work his way out of a stop, trying to point out his blockers. And that's going to be a holding, looks like called against the Bobcats, going to back them up from the yards gained after a good return.
We'll see if the Bobcats come out and play fast.
On the receiving team, it's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Theodore.
So Theodore will have the ball at their own 43-yard line. We'll see if the Bobcats offense will play fast, not come out sluggish as we saw them in the 1st quarter. Coach Eric Collier said that was one of the problems that has ailed the team all season, starting the game off slow, not coming out fast and playing fast. We know this offense has some tempo to it, and they can get going when they want to.
It's going to be about Bobcats' belief, and they're going to have to believe that they can execute better here on this possession, the first of the 2nd half.
Play action, they get it out to O'Neal. He's crossed the midfield stripe, kind of ducking and dodging a couple Hurricanes. Still has those legs moving, Corey. I think that's enough to pick up a 1st down.
O'Neal, again, the big 6'3", 175-pound target, and there's no pressure or no pressing at the line of scrimmage by these cornerbacks. They're probably playing 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, which with a one-step throw, it's an easy catch if you put it on the money and gives your wide receivers an opportunity to work in forward position.
Devontae Washington lined up behind Tyler Underwood. He's in for blocking And that ball falls out of the basket for Hunter Tillman. He couldn't put the biscuit in the basket right there. Just bounced off his shoulder pass, Corey.
Yeah, that was a greasy pigskin for Hunter Tillman. And he just needs a situation where you have to look that football in. If he's able to look it in and then turn upfield, he probably gets an additional 20 to 25 yards.
2nd and 10 for the Bobcats, just past the midfield stripe in Bryant territory. Tyler Underwood, the senior quarterback, now up to 6 touchdowns on the season. Connected with Jordan O'Neal earlier for a 3-yard pass. Devontae Washington, there's the other half of that 1-2 punch from the running backs that Theodore possesses. And he's close to the red zone. Take that one all the way down about the 26-yard line. Comes up limping, though.
A touchdown-saving tackle made by Jalen Dixon, the defensive back listed at 5'8", 160-pound senior. And we'll keep an eye on that injury as he does come hobbling off an explosive burst up the middle.
Play action once again, gets it to O'Neal in the slot. Defender hangs on, drags him down, but he picks up a couple, maybe 4 or 5, as the Bobcats offense continues to move.
And again, Al, the cornerbacks and defensive backs for the Hurricanes are playing so far off of the Bobcat wide receivers that it's quick pitch and catch situation for Underwood. He's just doing a good job of dissecting the defense.
2nd and about 2.5 here. Little quick pass out to Workman on that little bubble screen, and it is blown up by Bryant. Takes the 3rd down for Theodore here. Got to thank our folks once again at Jersey Mike Subs, authentic subs since 1956. Corey, I'm not going to tell on you, but I think I saw you eating at halftime, buddy, getting a couple Jersey Mikes down.
I had my sub above here at halftime thanks to Mark and Christina Sinclair. We were able to pick up those sandwiches at the Dolphin Street location this evening.
So it'll be 3rd and about 2 yards here for the Bobcats. Bryant is on a 6-game losing streak. It started last year with a 31-7 loss to Theodore. So they're trying to break the losing streak from last year into this year, Corey. They can pick up a win tonight. Underwood on the move, rolling out, and he does connect. That ball to Zach Workman, and that's a 29-yard touchdown. I don't see any flags on the field, Corey.
That's just great execution. We saw that same play earlier. This time you look at Underwood being able to roll out to his right, throwing the ball, catching it in stride is Zachary Workman. That's going to be his 3rd receiving touchdown on the season.
Marcos Lynn on for the extra point. And the extra point is blocked. That cannot be advanced. So Theodore on top right now, 20-0 over Bryant. Don't move, more action headed your way. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. College and career ready isn't just a buzzword in Mobile County. Our students earned more than 10,000 nationally recognized career credentials the last year, giving them an advantage when moving into the workforce. It starts with us. And Corey, it has started here in the 2nd half. Theodore on the board right there. 29-yard touchdown pass from Underwood to Zach Workman, extending their lead 20-0. Returner bobbles it, but he does make a little headway there. Gets up to about the 24-yard line, maybe 23-yard line.
James Miller on the return for the Hurricanes, and at least he gets beyond the 20-yard line. If it would have gone into the back of the end zone for a touchback, that's where the Hurricanes would have been. But a great route by Zach Workman, and he continues to work hard at his wide receiver position. There was no defensive press or pressure on the line of scrimmage. He was able to have a free release, run an outstanding route, which led to 6 more points for the Bobcats.
So 1st and 10 for Bryant, ball at the 24-yard line. R.J. Planer moving close to the line in the slot right there. A little handoff to Sid Johnson. Up the middle he goes, picks up 1 or 2. Make sure you stay close. We're going to try to hook you up with the Game of the Week Brain Buster coming up. We're going to put that question out there and give you the answer later on. See if you can get the answer to that one, so don't move. It'll be headed your way shortly. Inside the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Bryant even has some of the players on the sideline putting up signals, Corey, as you saw right there. Trying to help the offense out as we approach 6 minutes. Next dead ball, we'll have a heat timeout here in the third quarter. So it's second down and about 9 for the Hurricanes. Johnson wrapped all up by the Bobcats, Corey. That's going to be a loss.
Mike Washington, the 6'2", 210-pound senior, with an outstanding stop from his defensive end position, just making it very, very hard. We saw the Hurricanes pick up 1 first down in their last possession, but really have not been able to produce anything after that, and it's going to be our heat timeout.
You're right. Referee Sean Kelly signaling for the heat timeout right there here at 5:40 remaining in the third quarter.
4735. Once again, tonight's winning ticket is 1614735. If you have this ticket, please come up to the press box to claim your prize.
Let's take it down to the sidelines and check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Hey guys, so right before we went in for halftime, it was starting to get a little bit misty down here. I was getting a little bit worried because I didn't bring my rain jacket again, but I should have learned from last week. But now it has left some horrible humidity out here on the field, so I think that this heat timeout was much needed because it seems to be even hotter now than it was at the beginning of the game as far as the humidity goes. So hopefully these guys are able to just stay on top of that and they're able to continue to come out here and execute their plays.
Thank you, Kimberly. You're right about that. The humidity has increased here as the night has gone on. And, Corey, I must give compliments to our director in the truck, Wade Ford. He predicted it. He said the humidity was going to continue to rise as the night went on.
And, again, we've been in a heat advisory this entire week, and nothing has changed this Friday night.
Third and short for the Hurricanes. Little screen right there. Gets it out to Johnson. He's got room. He's still moving. Corey, look at him. Bruising runner as he's knocking Bobcats down left and right, and he gets the first down after a big deserving pitch and catch right there.
That's a good stop, or an attempted stop by that freight train that was a runaway situation. Jamel Richardson was the defender who really caught the brunt, and we talked earlier about Theodore finishing runs. Well, this time the Hurricanes have an opportunity to finish a run, and that's just a great finish, lowering your shoulders, keeping your pad level very low, and a dynamic run and finish by the Hurricanes.
First down for Bryant. Little screen out here. They do connect. Gets that ball out to Aiden Adams. So Adams playing both ways tonight. He's on defense as well, Corey.
R.J. Planer makes a good block from his wide receiver position, and it just makes it so much more manageable when you have 2nd and 4 versus 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10.
Very important to stay in front of the chains right there. So nice catch by Adams as he's coming in to play on offense as well. He's a DB for the Hurricanes. Bowie not running as much here in the second half as we saw him in the first half. Handing that ball off to Ced Johnson. He gets a tough earned 1 yard right there. That'll take Bryant to third down. A down and distance we're familiar with, about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 here, Corey.
And it's going to be critical for the Hurricanes to continue to sustain this drive. The Bobcats defense has their hands on their hips, but unfortunately so do the offensive players of the Hurricanes. So now it's just going to boil down to putting a hat on a hat and executing your offensive plays. And let's see what Wes Tidwell, the offensive coordinator for the Hurricanes, can come up with.
Play clock under 10 seconds. They need to hurry up and get this one off. Unless they're trying to get Theodore to jump off sides. We're at 2-1. They do get it off to Johnson. And look at him doing his Marshawn Lynch beast mode. Gets the first down into Theodore territory.
I love the yards after contact that Johnson's able to create. He came in this game having 33 rushes for 121 yards. Also is able to catch the ball out of the backfield, has 5 receptions for 78 yards. But again, that's a great way of moving the chains and keeping your offense on the field, trying to wear out this Bobcat defense.
1st and 10, ball at the 44-yard line of Theodore. We haven't seen Bowie run it yet in this possession. Hands it off once again to Johnson, so they're feeding him the rock continuously. Maybe Coach Tidwell is seeing something in that defense, and they're letting their bruising back put some damage on the Bobcats right now.
Running the ball left guard, behind left guard, Tyler Roberts, and right guard, Gregory Dixon, doing a good job of getting that good push up front to create positive yards early in down and distance situations.
Theodore calls it 2nd and 6 right here from the PA announcer. We'll go with that. 2 receivers on the near side. Handoff once again, guard pulling around, Johnson trying to get some room. Doesn't make much headway right there, maybe a yard, possibly a half yard on that gain. It'll take them to 3rd and 5, Corey.
Reginald Malone on the stop, the 5'9", 195-pound junior, doing a good job making sure that no additional yardage was gained after the contact, because we've seen yards after contact that Johnson's been able to create here on this particular drive.
So ball sitting squarely right there at the Theodore 40-yard line. The line to get is about the 39.5, where they have the first down marker lined up. Bowie's looking to pass. He escapes, gets some pressure. Has some room, can he get a block? Does not. He does throw the ball, Corey. It didn't appear as if he was past the line of scrimmage. Pass is caught, but I believe he's going to come up short of the first down mark.
It's going to be short yardage. I think he got it off to Logan Birch, the wide receiver, and Logan Birch is listed on our roster right now as 5'11", 160-pound junior, but Rajay Bowie was able to keep that play alive with his feet and had the awareness to dump it off at the last moment.
Ephraim Johnson Boykin has to come out of the game. The nose guard for Theodore lost his shoe, and Bowie runs right up the hole where Johnson Boykin just left, and that may be enough for the first down.
Stopped on the play by Colton Higgins, and it will be enough to move the chains for the Hurricanes, and they've done a good job of picking up 3 and 4 first downs. Let's see if they're able to put 6 on the scoreboard, because I know if they're able to pick up another 3 or 4 first downs, that Bobcat defense will have been on the field for over 8 minutes.
Corey, it appeared as if he got the first down, but the chains haven't moved. They're still on the far side. Now the chain gang is moving. I was wondering, Corey, that was enough to get the first down there. All right, referee Sean Kelly marks it ready to play. 1st and 10 for Bryant. Looks like they're setting up a screen there. No grounding on that play. I guess you could say that Raymond Stallworth was in the vicinity of that pass.
Yeah, Rajay did a good job of making sure that the only person that was going to catch that were the blades of grass here at C.A. Douglas Stadium. Did not want to throw it away, did not want to take the sack, so he's going to live to have another down and distance situation of 2nd down and 10.
Really good drive right here by the Bobcats, almost eating up about 6 minutes here on this drive. But most importantly, they need to try to get this ball into the end zone. They're close to the red zone. Ball sitting at about the 34-yard line. 2nd down. Pre-snap movement, or is that a timeout by Coach Doug Hain? I believe it is. So Coach Doug Hain has called timeout for Bryant. While we have a break, we're going to put up the question for you, Corey. Here's the game of the week brain buster at this timeout. 1:04 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Name the last 2 men to serve as head coaches at Grand Bay and Alba High School. Think about that one. Name the last 2 men to serve as head coaches at Grand Bay and Alba High School. Stick with us and we'll get that answer to you probably sometime inside the 4th quarter. I see you over there nodding your head. You're digging deep, huh, Corey?
I am. You definitely busted my brain on that one. Going to have to make me really, really think hard, Al, as to who the last 2 men were.
We did say earlier, Alma Bryant was created from 2 former high schools. You had Alba High School, you had Grand Bay High School, and they combined both of them to come up with Alma Bryant. As a matter of fact, Coach Collier told us he used to go to Alba High School as well, played his high school football at Alba High School.
Yeah, this community is near and dear to him. He said his son knows a lot of these guys that are currently on the field, and he just has a great passion for this county.
Yeah, they come over, have dinner as well. So living down there in the Grand Bay area, he's definitely bought in, former coach at Bryant as well. So it's all about community love down here, Battle South Mobile County. We're coming down here to Theodore C.A. Douglas Field for this contest. 2nd and 10 for Bryant. Bowie overthrows Stallworth. He had him, Corey, and he had room to get some yards after that catch.
One of those situations again to where Rajay really has to put that ball to where the receiver can make a play on it. I mean, it's almost a wasted down because they really had what they wanted here on the Theodore sidelines. If the wide receiver's able to catch that football, he's able to turn up and possibly gain 3 or 4 yards before the Bobcat defenders bear down on him.
And especially an incompletion coming out of a timeout. It's kind of like almost getting a penalty out of the timeout. You set up the perfect play, you have it, just can't complete it, just can't get it done. So we're sitting right at 1 minute remaining here in the third quarter. And this 3rd and 10, this drive somewhat stalling here for the Hurricanes. Going deep, Rajay Bowie cannot connect, and there's a flag coming in. Bryant player is down on the field. He took a hard hit there, Corey.
Yeah, it looks like it may be a targeting penalty, and the player hasn't moved yet, who's in the end zone, and I really wasn't able to pick up a number 81 for the Hurricanes.
Logan Birch.
Really took a shot in that situation. The trainers are tending to him immediately, and I'm glad to see him grab his face mask. If you take a look at the replay, Rajay Bowie spins the football, is able to put it where only his offensive player could hopefully get it in. Led with the shoulder did Cameron Brown, and the officials look like they're going to talk about it. If they go to their notepads, we may have an ejection. We saw that last week at Ladd Peoples Stadium where the MGM wide receiver took a nice shot and was knocked unconscious on the play, and they did eject the MGM player because of it. So the officials are huddling up, talking about whether they want to eject, whether it's going to be clearly a targeting or not.
So Birch is sitting up there a bit, Corey. I think more so, if anything, probably got kind of knocked there, and he's up really good. Hopefully he did not lose any consciousness. You talked about it. He did bring his hands up to his face mask. But that was a tremendous hit by Brown right there, and you can see the notepad, so we'll see what the call is. I believe probably defenseless receiver, probably targeting right there. We know the 15-yard is coming. We know that for sure.
And what will be interesting right here by our referee Sean Kelly and his crew will be whether they're going to go with the ejection or not. And Cameron Brown is currently coming off of the field for the Bobcats.
We have a personal foul, targeting, on number 3 on the defense. Also 3 is ejected. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So Corey, there it is. Cameron Brown ejected for the targeting, so he will have to come out of the ball game, will not be allowed to play anymore. And good observation right there on your part as well. So that gives Bryant first down inside the red zone, first time inside the red zone tonight for Bryant.
Jamarius Brown, the 5'9", 165-pound junior, is listed as his backup. And Cam Brown's very frustrated because here's a young man who has a great ACT score and is a hard-working young man also.
But as you noticed on the replay, he did lead with the shoulder pads, but it's more so the fact that Birch was a defenseless receiver at that point. We saw the ball going to him, but he wasn't going to be able to catch it. And there was another Bobcat defender right there. So officials view that was targeting, so he has been ejected from the ball game. Second down for the Hurricanes that they're trying to get into the end zone here.
And Bryant's done a good job on this drive of just taking time off of the clock, driving from close to their own 20-yard line down to now close to the 16 or 17 or 13-yard line of the Bobcats.
Less than 8 seconds remaining in the ball game. Rajay Bowie keeps it. Our first time calling his number. First time he called his number on this series, and he runs it in for a 12-yard touchdown. He caught the defense off guard, went right up the middle.
And that's a situation to where when you're coming off of a severe penalty and your leader on defense, he was one of our impact players, was Cam Brown, in that secondary. And once Bowie was able to get past the initial line of scrimmage, he knew exactly what to do with it. We talked about at the beginning on our checklist what a dynamic runner Bowie was, and you saw that exhibited on that 12-yard touchdown run.
Picked up his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Coming in to kick the PAT, Hayden Dickens with Aries McCants to hold. Dickens' kick is up, and it is good. So Bryant on the scoreboard, down 20-7. That's going to wrap it up for the third quarter as well. When we come back, we'll have fourth quarter action for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're entering the fourth quarter. Theodore on top, 20-7. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Coralie Bounty. Down on the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. And Corey, we're going into the fourth quarter. We put the question out there. Saw you shaking your head, scratching your head. Let's get ready to reveal the answer to the Game of the Week Brain Buster. The question was, name the last 2 men to serve as head coaches at Grand Bay and Alba High School. Would you like to render a guess, Corey?
Well, I know Rush Probst came over and took over Alma Bryant.
Okay.
And that's all I could tell you.
Well, if the folks in the truck could put the answer up, and Corey, you're close, but look at it. Rush Probst actually served as the last Alba head coach in 1997. And for Grand Bay, it was Charlie Shipp, 1996 and 1997. Somewhat of a trick question because you're right. He was the first coach at Bryant, but he was the last coach at Alba. Do you remember the mascot for Alba?
I do not.
The Alba Sharks.
They sure were. They were the Sharks.
Gotta love it. Coralie Bounty, y'all. Give it up for him. The Alba Sharks. So, yeah, Rush Probst came down in 1997, last year for the Alba Sharks. And remember, that first year for Bryant was huge, monumental.
It was. They had a lot of excitement in that community and did a wonderful job and had an outstanding season.
Sure did.
And really set the bar high for Alma Bryant football.
Sure did. Got to thank our folks for Future Ones for hooking us up with the gear. Always got us looking good. Once again, I got to compliment the truck and compliment the folks at Future One. Man, those truck tees look good, Cora.
I tell you what, you had, Gus Smith and Trent Massey want you to wear the Future in Future Ones, have all your game day and sporting apparel needs.
Thank them so much for hooking us up with the gear. Hayden Dickens just kind of gives a little worm burner on the ground there, but the Bobcats are up on it, and they are bringing it back. See if we can get a number on
Colton Higgins, number 6.
Colton Higgins, yeah. Defensive guy, one of the up guys bringing that ball back. Nice return for Higgins. So great field position for Theodore as we start into the fourth quarter here. Let's take a look at the replay. Nice run by him.
Colton Higgins said, look, I may be a linebacker, but I know what to do when I get the football too. And that was a good, outstanding tackle, just taking the legs out from under him, because if you don't take his legs out from under him, he's continuing to run down the field and score 6 for the Bobcats.
So Bryant has avoided the shutout, getting that touchdown there by Rajay Bowie, 12 yards, 20-7. And Underwood not letting up. He's going out to O'Neal, trying to get to the numbers to get more, and he's being forced. They're just going to call that one right there. Forward progress is stopped. I think that's a smart move by the officials.
I agree, and in that situation, again, you go back and you look how far back the defensive backs are playing off of these Bobcat wide receivers. It's almost like they're going to make them beat them with the underneath routes and go ahead and have support and help on the way like they just did.
2nd and 6 for Theodore. That ball complete to Hunter Tillman. He's on the move up to about the 25-yard line. Good pitch and catch for the Bobcats right there, so they're getting close to the red zone.
And now, something on that far sideline, I just never have seen a defensive back play 15 yards off of Jordan O'Neal, and that's exactly what's happening at the top of your screen. You go back and look at it. The defensive back is 15 yards behind, and it's like he's not going to give up the touchdown or the long ball to him.
He's not. Speaking of the touchdown and long ball, that's a connection in the end zone to Zach Workman, and the flag comes in. Let's see if this 25-yarder is going to stand.
What a great thrown ball. I don't think there was any offensive pass interference. I think it might have been more so defensive pass interference in that situation. I think the touchdown's going to stand.
Got defensive pass interference in the end zone. Penalty is declined. Results of the play, touchdown.
So Workman hauls in a 25-yard touchdown from Underwood, and the lead has been extended by Theodore.
1 minute and 17 seconds it took that Bobcat offense to strike on that drive.
Marcos Lynn's PAT is up, and it's good. Theodore on top, 27-7. More action headed your way with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Don't move. Workman picks up his second touchdown pass tonight from Tyler Underwood, and the Theodore Bobcats extend their lead 27-7. And look at the future Bobcat cheerleader there, Corey. She's just getting it.
She's very excited to be here at C.A. Douglas Field, and very excited that the Bobcats were able to strike quickly. 1 minute and 17 seconds, only time elapsed in that drive. And you know, you look at, that's a big score for the Bobcats because they're back motivated, got their fans excited again. Now let's see how the Hurricanes are able to answer.
Seth Tillman with the kickoff. He booms this one. Hurricanes with the run. That returned up to about the 23-24 yard line. Okay, parents, it's time to get connected with Parent Connect. Join Carmen Bounds and Paula Reese as they look into district-wide policies that concern your child's and their school. You can catch them weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network. So, Corey, Bryant's last possession, they get the score last play.
Got a 5-yard face mask on the receiving team. Be 5 yards, first down.
We have a face mask against the
So Bryant will get 5 more extra yards. As I was saying, they get the last play of the third quarter, pick up that touchdown 12-yard run by Rajay Bowie. Great drive they put together, ate up a lot of clock, but unfortunately only a, let's say, minute 7, minute 15, and Theodore is back on the board, extending the lead by 20 points.
And that's exactly what you're talking about. The extended drive that allowed the Hurricanes to get on the board was a spectacular drive, but it just ate so much time off the clock. And here it is, the Bobcats score in less than a minute and a half, and the Hurricanes aren't able to sustain that type of strength offensively because they put together close to a 7.5 to 8 minute drive, and at this point in time in the game, you just can't afford to do that.
Just not set up for quick strikeability like Theodore is. You talk about Tillman and Workman and O'Neal, the height, the speed that Theodore has, and Hurricanes appear to have the power, the bruising. They can get you more so long distance and stretching the game out.
Yeah, one of the things that you've seen is Rajay Bowie not really take a strike over 20 to 25 yards as far as throwing the ball downfield. It'd be interesting to see if they're forced into that here as we continue to progress.
And off to Starworth up the middle, he gets a couple of yards. Let's take it down to Kimberly Dunn. She's got an injury update on the sideline.
Yes, I was able to go to the opposing sidelines for Bryant Hurricanes, and number 81, who we saw laying in the end zone right before we entered that fourth quarter, he sustained a head injury. They would not go into detail with me about what type of head injury it was, but ultimately he will not be coming into the game for the rest of the night.
Thank you, Kimberly. She's referring to Logan Birch, who took that hit from Cam Brown, and Brown was ejected from the ball game for targeting, so no surprise there that Birch not coming back. I think that's the cautionary thing to do. Jailhouse break on Rajay Bowie, and they bring him down for a sack, Corey.
Yeah, you'll give half a sack to both of those defenders for Theodore. I know that quickly the Theodore Bobcats were in the backfield. Jeremiah Hester, also number 22 Trey Pines in the backfield before Rajay Bowie was able to do anything with the football.
So that was third down for the Hurricanes. It'll send them to fourth down.
Number 32, Jay McCann's in on the tackle. Also
Hayden Dickens on to punt for them. Back to receive for the Bobcats, Zach Workman. Dickens gets a nice punt off there. Workman fields it at about the 47-yard line, and a speedy return all the way up to the 25, Corey.
Good return for the Bobcats. They're in good field position. plus side of the field now into Hurricane territory.
Let's take a look at the 7A Top 10 Week 4 polls brought to you by the Alabama Sports Writers Association. Central Phoenix City moves up top. Hewitt, Tressville, and Thompson swapping spots back there. Hoover falling down to 5th after their loss last week. McGill-Tulane sitting right there at 6th. And Theodore Bobcats picking up 8 votes to enter the poll. Very respectful 8 votes. Theodore's record is 3-1. The last time they won 4 games in a row was in 2015 when they opened the season with 4 wins. So Theodore possibly with the win tonight, maybe could possibly hit the top 10. It'll be 4 in a row after their first loss to Daphne there, Corey.
And now Theodore just content to run the football. No need to really air it out. You're just going to give it to your big backs. And Underwood's had a great night throwing the football. Right. Very successful getting the football to Workman, Tillman, and O'Neill.
Here's a look at the 6A poll. Spanish Fort, Saraland, local teams right there sitting right in the middle. Saraland undefeated. New quarterback this season after Jack West is headed off to Stanford. And St. Paul's cracks the top 10, Corey. The defending state champs in 5A moving into the top 10 for 6A. A lot of people surprised by that move, getting 13 votes to enter the poll as well. So interesting, Coach Mass and the Saints over there in the top 10 already. Devontae Washington with the carry up to about the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at the 5A poll. And this poll pretty much is not moving at all. Briarwood Christian undefeated, Ottawa County undefeated, Vigo undefeated. Those top 3 teams have remained the same since the first week. But Jackson has moved up, Corey, with some losses there, moving up to 4th. So big game tonight with Vigo and Jackson up there at Legion Field. Getting votes, undefeated. Look at there, Citronelle with 5. And Faith Academy, Jack West, the football, Jack French, the football whisperer, 2 votes to possibly enter the poll there. He's doing some good things over there, Faith Academy.
Faith Academy's happy about him. Vigo up 20-6 over Jackson. 5.5 left to go in the 3rd.
Pass incomplete. It'll take Theodore to 4th down. Let's take a look at the 4A poll. We'll get it up right quick. UMS Wright had that victory over Williamson last week. They are playing some impressive football, only giving up 7 points for the entire season with their 4 games. Hillcrest Evergreen at number 3. Andalusia 2-2. And right now Williamson on top of Monroe County, and Williamson Lions getting 2 votes after a loss, Corey. So that's impressive. A loss to UMS White, still getting some votes, possibly moving into the poll. So Coach Detrick Sumter and his Lions over there is getting some respect early in the season. Marcos Lynn on for the field goal there, Corey.
39-yard field goal.
And it is no good. The 39-yard attempt no good, so ball over on downs to Bryant. We'll come back and see what the Hurricanes can do. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
First and 10, ball on the 22-yard line. Pass incomplete from Rajay Bowie to Sid Johnson. It'll take Bryant to 2nd down. 7:06 remaining here in the ball game, Corey. Down 27-7.
And when you're down 27-7, you just have to complete every single pass and really convert on every opportunity that's given to you. Now you're looking at a 2nd down and 10 yards to go with 7:02. You know you can't run the football because time's not in your favor.
Bowie handing off to Johnson once again. That is going nowhere. Talked to Coach Doug Hain at the beginning of the season. Asked him to compare Region 1 7A to ball back in Hattiesburg, where he formerly came from. He says very similar to schools like Oak Grove, Petal, Hattiesburg High. That's where Brett Favre volunteers over at Oak Grove. He said that coaching is great in this area, and it's a great area for kids to compete. And we see it week after week right here, 7A Region 1 football. Corey, you can't beat this football here in Lower Alabama on the Gulf Coast. You can't beat it anywhere.
It doesn't get any bigger and better than right here along the Gulf Coast. If we have some traditional powerhouses with some traditional matchups each and every week.
Bowie rolling out, and he's rolling into trouble. Out of bounds, brought down, sacked for a significant loss on 3rd down. And that drive goes nowhere for the Hurricanes.
And you can see the speed of Demouy Kennedy, the young man that's 6'2", 190-pound junior who was verbally committed to Auburn University, comes up with his 2nd sack of the season.
Corey, right there at 5:57, we'll get our last heat timeout of the night from referee Sean Kelly. Let's put up the remaining schedules here for both of these teams as we're in week 5. We know week 6 is that week where you kind of have out-of-region play or maybe some teams are off. So for Theodore, here's their remaining schedule. Big win if they can get it tonight. They wrap things up. They'll get the bye next week. And as you can see, pretty much they're going to have region games. If you want to call it, that gauntlet is remaining right there with McGill, Tulane, Davison. Get through those, Murphy and Mary Montgomery. They'll wrap up the season on the road at Enterprise. Interesting, Theodore opening up on the road at Daphne and then closing on the road at Enterprise as well.
Yeah, 2 quality opponents. And again, the Bobcats just trying to build off of hopefully this win for them and Coach Collier, and having that bye, going right back into region play, coming off of the bye. You can't afford, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, to take any weeks off.
Here's the remaining schedule for Bryant. They'll go on the road next week to Eufaula, so that's an out-of-region game, and then they'll play Blunt as well, Baker, McGill, Fairhope, and they'll wrap it up hosting Murphy. So all hope not lost for the Hurricanes, but losing 4 region games early, it's almost as if they would have to run the table. Yes, you can get into the playoffs possibly at 4-4, but really it comes down to who you beat or who you lost to, Corey, if you're going to get it in on a tiebreaker. Nice punt from Dickens right there. Looks like Zach Workman feels it. Another great run from him. He's coming to the near side, flags on the play, Corey. This one possibly maybe coming back as Workman runs it into the end zone. The officials are going to talk this one up, but the Bobcats not looking too excited. Someone saying, I think they got me.
And here's the situation for the Bobcats. There was a blindside hit. You didn't even have to attempt that block. You went for the kill shot on the return, and Workman was going to literally work his way into the end zone by himself with the speed and the wedge that was provided, and it's going to come back for the Bobcats.
So that's all for naught. We'll take a look at the replay right there. Great run from Workman, but all for naught.
On the return team, it's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Be 1st down, Theodore.
There's the call from referee Sean Kelly. We'll take it down to the sidelines and check in with Kimberly Dunn again.
Yeah, so we just came out of that heat timeout, and I think that it was much needed for both of these teams. You're starting to, at this point in the game, see a lot of exhaustion because the humidity, like I said, is still going strong here, and it seems to be getting more and more. I'm getting a little bit of sweat on my back here, and we're starting to see a little bit of heat lightning as well, just to let you know how hot it is. So hopefully these teams will be able to keep up that stamina and that endurance for the rest of this football game.
Thank you, Kimberly. Corey, I'm looking around like you. I don't want the heat lightning to get us under this tent right here.
We don't want to become conductors, that's for sure.
Let me know if things change, Corey.
Moore's pass is complete.
So Theodore has brought in the substitutes. Gavin Moore, backup quarterback. He's a junior. He comes in, gets the pass completed by 2nd and 5. Coach Carr, you're going to let some of his backups get some reps right here.
And that's a good reception by the Theodore Bobcats. Traylon Martin, and you're in a situation now. They're going to respot the football down at 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Theodore, again, making those substitutions. And I would be surprised if they continue to throw the football, leading 27-7. You'll be content to just run this clock out and make this tired Hurricane defense stop you running the football.
Little handoff jet sweep action for the Bobcats there. Coming around the edge, Traylon Martin. He picks up a lot of yards, and I believe it's enough to get the 1st down and gets those chains moving once again for the Bobcats.
Yeah, it will move those chains. Good job of blocking down the field by the wide receivers and the offensive linemen. And as soon as that ball is spotted, ready for play, we'll start the clock.
From the Bryant 27-yard line.
Bobcats on the field looking to the sideline for the call. So Moore coming in, getting some cleanup duty here. He's a junior. We talked about that earlier. 5'10", 168. Picking up some valuable reps right here. Possibly some frustration from Coach Eric Collier and the crew. So they're going to burn a timeout because the play clock was about to run out, Corey.
Yeah, they didn't want to take the penalty. 4:03 remaining here in the fourth quarter. They are going to take that timeout again, but they are on first down. 1st and 10 with the ball being spotted right at the 34, 33-yard line, it looks like.
When you need to know what's happening in Mobile County Public Schools, watch Inside Education with Helena Tyler for all the latest school news and in-depth reports on issues that affect your child right here on the MCPSS TV network. Corey, it's 4:03 remaining in the ball game. Who would you possibly say you're considering for your pigskin player of the game tonight?
Well, you have a couple candidates for the Theodore Bobcats that have done an outstanding job. You look at the quarterback. He's done a wonderful job, Tyler Underwood, but really look at Jordan O'Neal making the big difference. And for a DB to showing him the type of respect playing 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, he has close to 7 or 8 receptions off of the top of my head that I can remember, and I know one of them's for a touchdown. But again, you look at Workman. Workman has a couple of TDs too.
Workman has a couple touchdowns as well, a couple run backs as well. So you got a couple guys to think about there as we get close to the end of the ball game. There's one guy right there, Jimmy Haywood. He's been running that rock consistently as well.
Jalen Dixon up ends him, or he's continuing to run in. He's frustrated himself. You look at the replay, just the holes being opened up by this massive offensive line.
Right.
And at the last moment, again, a great tackle in the open field by Dixon.
So it's enough for the first down. The Bobcats inside the red zone, ball sitting at the 15-yard line. I'm pretty sure the coaching staff want to see some good positive reps right here from their future. That's it right there, Gavin Moore. Handoff to Haywood. Looked like that ball was kind of bobbling coming out there with the handoff, Corey.
Yeah, there was not a clean quarterback to running back exchange, and lucky that that football did not hit this grass. But again, positive yards, maybe a half a yard. They're not even going to give them a half a yard. They're going to give them the line of scrimmage.
So no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Clock continues to move here in the fourth quarter, but that has not stopped the Bryant Hurricane Band, Corey. They're continuing to play on. Moore looking to connect with the receiver, does not. One of the Theodore Bobcats player loses his helmet, one of the offensive linemen, so he'll have to come out for one play right there. Looks like Colby Cowles, number 73.
The 6', 265-pound sophomore will trot off the field, and there's going to be a face mask called against the Canes.
I wonder if that led to the face mask coming off of Cowles right there.
And if it did, he won't have to exit the game if he had his lid ripped off of him.
And looks like Gavin Moore is coming out limping, Corey.
Yeah, personal foul, face mask on the defense. The half the distance penalty still does not result in a first down.
Sean Kelly explaining the infraction in the walk-off there. So Underwood has to come back in. Moore kind of took a hit there. He had to come out limping from that after that last play.
And what you'll see from Underwood is probably him just hand the ball off. No need for him to do anything else but that with 2:35 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
Stoppage in play. I don't see any flags on the field, but the officials are coming to discuss some things. I wonder if it has to do with the spot where the ball is placed at.
Like you mentioned, there was no yellow flag dropped on the play.
No.
The whistle got everyone's attention.
So Sean Kelly kind of chuckling right there. Maybe he'll give us an explanation, or maybe not, just wanted to.
Yeah, possibly an inadvertent whistle. It does happen from time to time.
So it's 2nd and about 4 yards. Theodore can pick up the first down without having to score right here. Ball sits at about the 7, maybe 8 yard line. Little toss out to Haywood. Ball hits the ground, but he gets the fortuitous bounce, Corey, but he's brought down, and that's going to be a loss for the Bobcats.
Tall sweep situation. The timing wasn't there as Underwood just turned around, really didn't see the running back and who he wanted to toss it to, and because of it, the ball does hit the turf. And you look at the situation for the Bobcats, like you just mentioned, Devontae Washington was able to scoop it up off of the grass and act like he got a clean pitch, but that one's on Underwood. Underwood has a turnaround, and even though he just got back in the game, he turned and looked at the sidelines and took accountability for that.
3rd and 6 for Theodore. Play clock approaching 5 seconds. Little play action, they fake it. Underwood throws. It does have a man right at the goal line. That ball incomplete. Cannot get it completed to DeChristian Porter. So it'll take Theodore to 4th down, but there is some laundry on the turf there, Corey. Flag right at the at the 15-yard line.
Chippiness going on out on the field, and I think, you know, sometimes it's the second person who gets caught as far as unsportsmanlike, but it happened both ways. I saw an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman going at one another.
Have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on the defense, half the distance to the goal, a 1st down.
Right there, again, it was the second person to get caught. Sometimes you get baited, and this late in the game, you just go ahead and you suck it up. You just finish playing. 1:26 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Right, you got to keep your head in the game here. So 3rd and short for Theodore. Underwood looking to the sideline to get the call. So Sean Kelly signaling right there, 3rd down, as we see the down marker on the far side of the field says 3rd down. So 3rd and short right here for the Bobcats.
And you can go right here with the handoff and get the 1st down, like you mentioned, without getting a touchdown. I don't think they really want to run it up in this situation.
No need to. Hand off to Haywood, up the middle he goes. I believe he might be short there, Corey. We'll see where they spot it. So with less than 1 minute remaining, Corey, what would you say, who's your pigskin player of the game for tonight's contest?
I think I'm going to go with the wide receiver for the Theodore Bobcats out of the 2, Jordan O'Neal.
Number 11,
Jordan O'Neal. Even though Zachary Workman had 2 touchdowns, I think Jordan O'Neal made the difference and was shown a lot of respect on the football field.
I agree with you on that. Underwood just plowing over with the quarterback keeper. That should be enough to pick it up. And even if he doesn't, Corey, you're right, no need to run up the score. Ball over on downs. Less than 40 seconds remaining here in the contest. No need of rubbing it in right there at all.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. 25 seconds on the play clock once this ball is spotted. 35 seconds on the game clock. One more snap, probably just taking a knee in the victory formation. Will the Bobcats be able to get into right now?
I agree with you there. Jordan O'Neal, pigskin player of the game. He had a great contest. And I believe, as you said, the intimidation factor of what he brought, even though he only scored 1 time, but we saw him catch many passes across the middle playing out of that slot position that kept drives going for Theodore as they're going to get this victory tonight. That's 4 in a row for the Bobcats, and they're pretty much in charge of 7A Region 1, right there undefeated with McGill, undefeated in region play. 27-7 will be the score as the Bobcats get a victory here at C.A. Douglas Field, Corey.
We talked about the Bobcats' belief as part of my checklist at the beginning of the game. Well, right now they're undefeated in region play and are still feeling very good about themselves, and rightfully so, because tonight they played an outstanding contest offensively and defensively. Here in the 2nd and 3rd quarter, they were really able to get it in gear.
Right, one big drive for Bryant and a very long drive that took out the remaining of the 3rd quarter. But as you said, those long drives, and then right after that, Theodore comes with a quick pop to extend the lead to 27-7.
Yeah, I think that Theodore, again, will be able to see a lot of things on film that will allow them to get better this week. And again, we talked about them going into a bye week. So with that being said, Al, I just think that the Theodore Bobcats really believe that they belong in this 7A Region 1, can compete with anybody. And under Coach Collier have had a lot of success in this region this year.
He said it. We can't simply settle for getting into the playoffs. We want a home playoff game. We can contend, and most importantly, it's time to get over the hump here in region play. So he's picked up his 4th win in a row. Since 2015, that was the last time Theodore won 4 games in a row. They lost the first game, and this season they lost the first game to Daphne, and they reeled off 4 in a row right now.
2000 was the last time that Theodore won a region championship, and they have an opportunity to put themselves in the driver's seat right now atop the region and make everybody chase them. We all know about McGill-Tulane and their success over the last 3 years, making it to 3 consecutive state championship games, but the Bobcats are trying to change that dynamic.
Let's take it down to the field. Kim is with winning head coach Eric Collier.
Coach, how did you feel about your team's performance in tonight's game?
Well, I thought we'd come out the second half, played better. You know, we didn't play with a whole bunch of enthusiasm like that, but you know, bottom line is this: we came out the second half, put a couple drives together, moved the ball, play good defense. I don't like that one situation where they go down the field and score, but you know, that happens. You know, they're a good ball team too. But, you know, again, tonight we had a bunch of penalties. That's driving me crazy.
Yeah. So what does this region win mean to you and your team tonight?
Well, you know, it's like I told the guys in pregame. I told them all week. I told them at halftime is, you know, we need one more notch in our belt to try to secure a home playoff game. And that's our first goal.
Yes. All right. Well, congratulations, Coach, to you and your team.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate y'all.
All right, Kimberly, we appreciate that. Coach Eric Collier and the Bobcats off next week. Corey, what a way to get a win, and you get an off week next week to celebrate it.
Yeah, now the Bobcats are 39-3 since 2000 when they are allowing opponents 10 or less. So this is a very stingy defense. They lead the region in scoring. Coach Collier just mentioned he was upset about giving up the 7 on that long, consistent drive, but nonetheless, Theodore comes away with the win.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Theodore gets the win tonight, 27-7 for Corley Bounty, Kimberly Dunn, executive producer Quentin Howard, and the entire MCPSS TV production crew. I'm Al Wheaton. Thank you for joining us tonight for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Next week, we're going back to Ladd Stadium. It will be Williamson and Rain. Thanks for joining us. Good night.